Tua.
I'm done. I'm
This is
bowing
work?
out.
This is
That's
work?
the end of the show right there, y'all.
Trigger wants to say that. But
Yeah. It's heavy. Famous love. Yeah, I gotta keep it trilly on my soul. I'm the most selfish person that I know. Here we go, down the rabbit hole. Got a couple carrots from my neck. Self-respect, when you out of line, you put yourself in check. They don't hear me, they don't hear me though. Cycles going round and round and round like a merry-go. Stand for truth, or fall for any old scenario. That's why I keep my circle smaller than a Cheerio. Cause it's the company you keep. Stay woke, please don't get caught sleep. End up showing what you read. Know your worth and don't sell cheap.
yo, what's going on? LOD in the house. Woo!
What up? What up?
It's been a minute. Yo, America. There you go. America.
Long minute.
Yeah, man. It's been a while, guys. What's up with you guys?
Not much.
You want to introduce yourself? You guys, you want to introduce yourself out there, guys? Practicing my Biden right now.
Yeah, I can go first. Stevie, Patrick. Done a podcast before because I support women being actual women. So, and I'm also a patriot. So that's why we're here.
What about you, Mr. Bob? What's going on, man?
Oh, just J Bob's what everybody calls me. I come from TikTok as Bearded J Bob, and I stand for what is right.
Damn right.
Outstanding.
Yeah. So it's for the audience out there. Here we go. All right. Just to let you guys know, in case we get kicked off of YouTube, just go to Rumble. Just go to Rumble. Liberty or Death Podcast, all one word, and just click on that follow button. You know, go ahead and do that. Sub here because you know what, guys, we're gonna take one for the team. Yes, that's what we're gonna do up in here.
Right.
We ain't never scared, man. What do you guys think about what do you guys think about what's going on with CNN and their basically censorship of the presidential debate? You guys, what are your takes on that?
Did they say something about there's going to be like a 2-minute delay or something like that? I heard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much truth behind that or not, but it's all sham.
Yeah.
There's, I think, some advantages that they're giving Biden, obviously. I think the only advantage they're giving Trump is, like, I think Biden only gets, like, one bathroom break or something along those lines. But that's it.
What?
No, I'm serious. They laid it out.
Unless he can't make it.
Yeah.
It's true.
There was, like, 5 debate rules, and I should have had this pulled up already.
So basically, we're going to be expecting that grunt face on his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do the Biden, right?
And Biden, Obama's standing behind you with the little puppet thing.
It's not going to be a bathroom break. It's going to be a diaper changing break.
Yeah.
I hope they brought a big enough table.
Yeah.
He's going to come back out and go, my butt's been wiped.
Dude, he is full of shit, so it's going to be a lot of it.
Yeah.
A lot of shit to come out of there.
Yeah, man. Wow, they're gonna load him up with a lot of B12 and what's his name?
A couple of lines.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm curious.
Wait, Hunter's going to be there? I didn't know Hunter was going to be there.
Well, in spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yo,
he's
Pop,
been at
take a
Camp
bump.
David prepping for this, so I'm curious to see what drugs they pumped him with.
Yeah.
All of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Adrenaline. Yeah. They got to get him talking shit and saying, I want to take you out behind the barn and beat the hell out of you. So they'll give him a shot of adrenaline, some testosterone, but they'll have to counteract the adrenaline and the testosterone, so they'll add a little bit of estrogen, and then he'll start praising the trans community or some shit.
I wonder how much Adderall he took before this.
Let's see here. Alive.
So yeah, the rules we're looking at tonight is no live audience.
Right.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, no live audience, and that's the first since 1960. They will only have 2 commercial breaks. And Trump and Biden will not be able to consult with their teams.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly, they will only be given a pen, paper, and water.
Mm-hmm.
And then a coin flip will be flip won by Biden means he will stand at the lectern on the right side of the stage. And let's see where it says. I know it says something about the bathroom breaks. I think there's only 2 bathroom breaks that they get. So I don't really see like how anything could go in Biden's favor, but we've already seen how they cheat before. So.
Oh yeah. I also
Well,
heard.
the best thing for
Right.
Trump to do out of the gate is to just hit Biden hard with all of his failures in the last 3.5 years. That's the best thing he can do. And Biden, as off the rails as he is, Trump's mic is going to get shut off after 2 minutes. Biden's mic is going to come on, and they're going to have to remind Biden, hey, it's your turn. And immediately you will see how lost he is, and he's not going to know what to talk about. He'll immediately start talking about the wildest shit you can ever think of.
I'm under pressure.
Oh yeah, check this out. I also found out what CNN is doing, like as far as prepping. I thought I saw the I saw the video, but oh, yeah, I'll find it shortly. It's like it's like on the lectern. They said they have like 2 green buttons, 2 buttons, and it says it's hard to explain in a second, but yeah. Hold on.
I think, Trump really works well in front of a live audience. Obviously, that's where he gets a lot of his, charisma from. But I don't think this is going to go the way we want to, but that's just because they cheat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
That's
going to be a
just my
disaster.
opinion.
It will be
Yeah.
a disaster, 100%.
Yeah. And the dude that is, he's always been known to be partial to the Democrat, no matter who's debating. And he was,
fake
he
Trapper.
really was, and he was really unfair to Trump that last debate. So
Yeah. So don't be surprised by any of it. It's going to be frustrating as hell, but don't be surprised by anything that happens tonight. The biggest surprise you can see is I don't think there's any surprise actually, is if they actually give a hardball question to Joe Biden instead of all these softball questions that we know that they're going to throw out there. But if he's not going to get any hardball questions, then Trump will receive every hardball question, but we know that he's going to handle it just fine because that's what
absolutely.
he does. He's 78, 79 years old, and the dude's still sharp. So
for sure,
throw the hardballs at him. That's cool.
Did y'all see the young kid that's on TikTok? You know who I'm talking about? I don't know if we're allowed to say names or not.
Harry Sissy Boy.
Yeah, so he did a video, and I just posted it. I just did a reply to him today. He was talking about how Biden was at Camp David for the last week. I think it's David, and how he's trying to prep for it and stuff. But yet Trump's out here still doing the campaign trail. He's not prepping for it at all. And I did the video talking about, like, wait a minute. So you mean tell me the active president has to take a week off to prep for a presidential debate, but yet you're going to complain about a man that's doing the presidential thing and addressing the American people instead of behind closed doors, what I call powering behind closed doors, especially after everything that's taking place with Russia.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah. And it's yeah, it's amazing how they don't think clear,
No, they just twist the nerves. They twist the words and the narratives. I swear,
Yeah.
I've only had one I promise. But they're going to twist the words. They're going to twist the narrative and actually what's going on. And the sad part is all their dumb followers are going to believe everything that they have to say about this.
Oh, it's sad.
It is. But the support for this party, the Democrat Party, has dropped so much that the only people that are going to be left over are going to be the angry white liberals. They got green hair, blue hair, and they weigh as much as all four of us combined.
Yeah. I wanted to get on this real quick. Podcaster, apparently you guys heard of Temple, right? About Temple.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't know about it until you mentioned it to me earlier today. So can you kind of explain what's going on here?
Sure. It says here, you know what? They may have a video here. I'll have him explain it to you. Here you go.
I received a message from YouTube last week asking to hop on a phone call to discuss the RNC and the presidential cycle. And I said, sure. I briefly spoke with some individuals at YouTube earlier today who made it clear that CNN reached out and is expressing concern. I don't know the full extent, but making it known that YouTube better contact their news programs over the CNN debate. Now, of course, like all presidential debates, which is the epitome of civic responsibility, it is of civic participation, we will provide live commentary and fact-checking on this presidential debate, as we have done for every other, so long as this show has been around. In a show of good faith, YouTube asked me to reach out to CNN to see if there was anything that they would be looking for in this regard, because apparently they are asking other networks who are doing the exact same thing to abide by certain restrictions. And I said, okay, I'll reach out. To which the immediate response was something along the lines of confirming we will not allow anyone on YouTube to use this outside of, CNN granting certain platforms, basically saying, you can't do this. And my response immediately was, commentary on presidential debates is the epitome of fair use. Hope that helps. This Thursday will be particularly interesting. I think that news is big. I can't really put that succinctly in 80 characters for a YouTube headline, but this is massive. That CNN is pulling this move. We saw something similar that Fox News had done. Fox had filed several takedowns on various shows, including ours, but they abandoned their copyright claims because this is unquestionably fair use. We have the two people running for the president of this country, one of them the current president, and we're going to fact check and we're going to comment and we are going to call them out in real time. If we can't do that, if no one else can, then that's severely limiting civic participation, and it's allowing a biased network that in the past has likened Trump to Hitler to control who can and cannot fact check this man. And as we know, with special rules for this debate, they are seeking to control that narrative. And I believe that is exactly why they reached out to YouTube and why YouTube reached out to me, because they don't want anyone to break their narrative. That's the dirty game they're playing. It's going to be a fun Thursday. But
yeah, so that's what.
Wow.
So that's what to deal with him. Yeah.
Wow.
And according to Benny Johnson too, basically they contacted all the big creators, like all of him and Benny Johnson and everybody else, and they told them that. So and of course he he says 1 or 2, okay, and blah blah. It says breaking: CNN will implement a 1 to 2 minute delay for tonight's presidential debate instead of the standard 7 seconds delay potentially. So about this delay here, about this delay, while they have a delay, I heard on the radio that they're supposed to, that apparently they heard that it was going to be edited too, live, that the live will be edited. Apparently.
Well, they said it right there. a 1 to 2 minute delay. Well, go back. A little bit more. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the CNN. Well, what are you doing?
Sorry, man.
CNN will implement a 1 to 2 minute delay for tonight's presidential debate. Well, I can't read that fast. Instead of the standard 7-second delay, potentially allowing time to edit parts of the broadcast. Who is going to edit the parts of the broadcast? Now, of course, this is not CNN saying this. This is a guy by the name of Patrick Webb.
Right.
He makes a good point. He makes a great point because CNN is notorious for editing any type of Trump content.
And they're doing it. They're doing it because and they're going to turn around. They're going to blame it on Trump. So that way, if Trump starts going off on some kind of tangent or maybe even throwing the word racial tangent or something, they can edit it out so it doesn't offend people. But we all know it's going to be because of Biden's slip-ups. So they can go in and fix it with AI. That's what I believe.
So we don't make any cheap fakes.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. They cut the video and shorten it, compress it, and make it fit so that it looks like he did not have a delay. He did not have that infamous Biden brain fart.
Oh, hold on. I got to take a Biden real quick.
All right.
Sliding to Biden.
Yeah.
We're sliding to Biden.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, that's it. Oh yeah, here you go. This is the video. This is the rules I'm talking about.
If we go behind the podiums, you can see 2 green lights. When they're on, they signal to the candidate his microphone is on.
Oh man, can you imagine Biden, man? He's like, ooh, what the heck is that? Is that
he's
pretty lights
right there? He's gonna get lost.
Yeah.
It's gonna stop him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, pretty lights.
And the green lights.
Sorry.
I thought you said these were green. Why are they purple?
Yeah. I'm tasting a rainbow.
They're jumping up at me.
Yeah.
So off, they signal to the candidate his microphone is off. Now I want to give you a sense of what it will look like for viewers at home if a candidate whose microphone is off interrupts a candidate whose microphone is on. So I'm standing at one podium, and I'll ask Phil to come in and take the other podium. And so let's say I'm answering a question. My light is green, and I'm speaking. Phil's microphone is off, and his green lights are not illuminated. He's going to interrupt me as I'm speaking, and this is what it will sound like. My volume remains constant, while Phil's interruption can be difficult to understand.
Let's try the opposite. My microphone is now on. Victor's microphone is off, and he's going to interrupt me. My volume remains constant, while Victor's interruption can be difficult to understand. CNN's production team has shared this demonstration with the campaigns earlier today, and we're sharing it with you, our viewers, so everyone fully understands how tomorrow night will work. Now, we should note, by agreeing to participate in this debate, both campaigns and candidates have also agreed to abide by these rules. The CNN presidential debate airs live tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Pause that. Is anybody getting the feeling that you're watching Colin and Michael? Have you seen that? It's a comedy skit. I think it's Saturday Night Live, or maybe they've got their own thing going on, but it's on YouTube. And what they do is they pose as news anchors, but they write each other's scripts. Yes. Michael's the black guy, Colin is the white guy, and Michael will write all the most racist stuff that you can think of that a white guy could say, and then Colin has to read it. It's the most ridiculous thing, but it's hilarious. And every time I see these two talk, that's all I can think about. It's such a joke. I cannot take this serious.
Yeah. Hey guys, you want to know what's up? Here you go with the malfunction again, bro. I'm telling you right now, I think Rumble crashed because I'm getting that error.
Oh,
that error message.
Hold on.
That doesn't surprise me.
Something went wrong. The service is currently unavailable, and I restarted my phone and stuff like that. And I tried to even go on the computer, and it crashed.
Oh. That's what I've got. Just a blank white screen. There's a little green wheel just turning and turning and turning.
Yeah, same.
Wow. See, it's already started, and the
Exactly.
debate's even
Already.
started yet.
Yep.
Already.
This is
Wow.
what they want because they know they can't control Rumble, but they can control what we say on YouTube.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, good thing
Wow.
I'm good thing I'm streaming on another stream, but I mean it sucks that nobody's gonna see it. I mean it has one person on here and that's it. But watching, but I mean that's besides the point. But at least it's still recording. But
Yeah.
oh man, this is gonna
Yeah, Rumble's
this
down
does-
completely on. I can't get it on anything.
if this doesn't say election interference, I don't know what is. I don't know what you know.
100%.
And this is recording right
100%.
now, right?
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yep. It's that's freaking weird, dude. Wow.
Damn.
Wow. As a matter of fact, this kind of reminds me of that of the last time it crashed. What damn, I forgot what was going on when it crashed before.
It's J6.
Yeah.
It happened J6. It happened
Yeah.
J6. I remember that.
Yeah.
I actually remember that. In fact, do what?
Well, when
I
I was
remember-
there, they had no signal on anyone's phone. You couldn't use your phone. It was a dead weight.
Oh.
You couldn't
Yeah, so
record, you couldn't go live, you couldn't make phone calls, you couldn't text.
I was supposed to be there, and I was supposed to leave on January 3rd, and the planes were canceled. And then on January 4th, I had a buddy of mine that was going to meet me in Texarkana. He was coming down from Tennessee, and he was going to pick me up in Texarkana. They was going to shoot over into Florida, pick up another friend, and go up there and be there by J6, right? And we couldn't map out anything. We're going that direction. We could like Google Maps, Apple Maps, they were all shut down,
they were all
going
shut
in
down.
that direction on January 4th. January
Yeah, we
4th, you
left the
could
night
not
of
map out
January
Washington, D.C.
5th. Yeah, we left the night of January 5th on a bus, and it was
Wow.
paid for. Well, we were on there with the Bikers for Trump. I don't know if you've ever heard of those guys.
Mhm. Yep,
Amazing
yep.
group of people. So we had several buses that we had chartered, and we left out of South Carolina, and just drove straight through the night. Got to DC at about 5:45 in the morning. So
I'm a heavy puffer, y'all, so I'm trying to do it off camera.
no, you're
You're
good.
good, bro.
I don't know what YouTube. I know TikTok don't allow it, but I don't know about YouTube and
You
stuff.
just can't. I think you can't do it on camera as long as it's
Right, like I'm doing, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
You like lean to the side where nobody can see you.
Yeah, yeah. You're gonna see a lot of that. I'm a heavy puffer.
Would it be
I don't see that.
beneficial for us to do live on TikTok just out of curiosity?
What? I'm sorry.
To go live on
that
TikTok, you
again.
think we'd get shut down pretty quick?
You know what? Let's try that. I don't normally do that, but you know what? Screw this. They all piss me off.
Give him a big old F you, baby.
That's right. I'm that type of person, bro. You tell me I can't do it, I'm gonna freaking do it. Yeah, I'm like, hold my beer. Let's do this. Let's do this, man. Let's do this. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to go in and go out. So you know, you know what? Screw this. Let me see if I can connect it. That is crazy, man. You guys want to keep on talking?
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah. That's just wild, man. Everything that they're doing.
Yeah.
Rumble, is it still down or is it back up yet?
I don't know, bro. I'm gonna check it out right
Let's
now.
pull it
Still.
again.
I'm curious because this is wild to seeing it live like this. You know, I don't have another source of you know, like
Hold
You
on.
can't. Oh,
Yeah, mine's
It's-
still down on both my laptop
So-
and my iPad.
it says something went wrong. Service is currently unavailable.
Bam, right there.
Oh,
This page isn't working right now.
Blank screen.
Yep.
dude,
That's
they're doing everything they
convenient.
can.
Yes.
They're doing everything they can. Come on, man. You can't
Motherfuckers.
convince me this is a censorship right here. You can't convince me.
Yep.
100%.
100% is, especially after that 6-3 ruling by the SCOTUS that says that the government can tell any social media platform, shut down whatever you want.
Facts.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
see, but
100%,
correct me if
they're
I'm
shut-
wrong. I don't know Rumble all that much, but is it Rumble more right leaning than it is left?
Yeah, they have
It's
like
supposed to be.
pretty much
It's-
total free speech on there, both
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And everybody thought Clapper was the same way, but Clapper kind of turned into another TikTok
Oh my god,
on their
it's like
Yeah,
censorship.
that guy.
it's like TikTok, but like the Wild West TikTok.
Yeah.
It was
Because
like
I know a lot of
Twitter
people got
meets
censored.
TikTok. You show everything on there.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going live on TikTok on on the phone. Hey guys, what's
Okay.
up? This is your boy Twisted Josh LOD. You guys want to hop on here? Okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna invite everybody. I'm
Yeah.
gonna invite Trigger. Here, let's do this.
Uh,
There you go.
So do I just need to go to my TikTok then?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
going on my
yeah, but
phone
keep
right
that
now.
up. Keep
Oh yeah, I'm gonna
this
keep
going
this
right now as
open.
well.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
All right.
Let me go to my TikTok.
Where's Trigger at? Dang it.
Oh yeah.
I don't have another source to go check it.
Holy shit! There's Michael Cohen's ugly face over here on
Uh.
TikTok. Should fuck with him.
Hey guys,
I always get in there and say, hey, they're behind you. They're coming.
hey yo guys, check this out. We're I'm on my streaming software. I'm sorry, we're on the streaming software. Me, Trigger, Stevie, and Bearded J Bob. And guess what? Rumble crashed. Yep, Rumble crashed.
Where is? How do I add? There we go.
I invited you guys. So we're gonna bring it to TikTok. Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, baby. We're gonna get this. And I wish I can share this on TikTok. Hold on. You know what? Let me see if I can add it. I'm doing it right now.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. I thought. Oh, that's weird.
I'm assuming y'all are using like computers to do this, right? I can't do that
Yes.
with my cell phone.
Yeah, I've
Right.
got my laptop going.
Yeah, I'm on my laptop and my cell, but of
Okay.
course I don't see TikTok right
If
now.
you want,
so-
if
Hey babe, can you do me a
you want to just
favor?
jump over there.
We had to
Okay.
switch to TikTok because they shut us down. I know. Well, come here.
Oh no, Trey, we're gonna do both, bro. We're gonna do both.
Fuckers. It won't be long until TikTok shuts us down, especially when we get deep in the paint.
Oh yeah, we going. Yes, sir. Yeah, to you lefties out there, if this is not
Do me a favor if you can.
voter
Share the podcast. but
whatever,
we got shut
what is
down
it?
on
What did
Rumble.
I say?
It like they shut Rumble down completely because of this whole debate thing. So we're trying.
Yeah, they shut Rumble down, guys. They did. I got all of us, me, Trigger, Beer, J Bob, Stevie, we all got our
Try to at least share
Rumble pages
live.
all shut.
Until TikTok
done.
shuts us down. This is censorship at its finest.
This is censorship, guys.
Because
telling you.
this is the whole what we're talking about. The presidential debate.
Hey, would I be considered like a co-host on Streamlab right now? Like, is that what I am? Like a co-host or a guest? Like, how would I? 'Cause I'm trying to figure something out.
What do you mean, like a guest? I'm not understanding.
Like right now, right now, you and I are talking on Streamlab, and you're streaming it on YouTube, TikTok, and you was trying to do Rumble. So would I be a co-host right now, or is this a guest like it is on TikTok?
A guest on TikTok, yeah.
Okay, but because I'm trying to see if there's a way, because I'm on a Samsung, I wonder if Samsung will allow me to do what we're doing here, and then I could take this live on TikTok, like you're doing on TikTok with your laptop.
Yeah.
I wonder if I could do that, because I know Apple won't allow you, but I wonder if Samsung would. Is there like another app I need to download or something? See if you can Google that.
I don't know, man. This is weird. Guys, if this is not campaign, this is not election interference, I don't know what is, for real. And you think we're tripping? We have 4 people that are saying the exact same thing.
I just sent you a request.
What are they saying?
Just need you to share it. That's all.
Liberty, what are they saying?
Hmm? Yeah. No. What's up?
No, like how can I use my cell phone to do that? I'm not a laptop, but a cell phone. Can I use my cell phone to do exactly what it said?
How can you stream? Can you stream like to TikTok?
I can do it also from my iPad if we need to. Like I'm on my phone right now, but I can also do it from my iPad. I have TikTok on there, so
Right. Well, I'll try to go live too, and then like go live on TikTok at the same time on here. But I don't know if I can do that using my cell phone. I don't think I can.
Well, it's funny because today while I was setting up StreamYard, I took off TikTok. I had TikTok for some unknown reason, and I just deleted it. But now I go back in to add something, and it's not even there anymore. It's like they took it off. But I have Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, Instagram Live, Twitch, and Hopin. But I don't have TikTok. I'm unable to go to do TikTok now. But before then, it was like right there. So.
all right, just give me 1 second. I'm gonna try to share this on my Facebook too.
All right.
But I still got y'all live.
Yeah, what I heard also on Instagram was that Tuesday, I was reading an article yesterday about Instagram. They actually took they are messing with people's settings. And basically, if they want to view like political stuff, remember, if you want to view less political stuff, then they would like basically you could switch over. Have you guys heard of that? Did you guys hear about that before? Yeah, you're able to switch over if you want to see less of political stuff. So
oh no,
anyway,
I haven't seen that.
Oh yeah. So anyway, basically what they did, they took it upon themselves to mess with everybody's account and just do that. And to where nobody is seeing political stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, dude. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just go with it. I mean, I can't bring it I can't bring it on TikTok. So it sucks, but anyway.
So it tells me I could do this, but I'm afraid if I go, because I was able to sign in using my Google account, and then but it asked me to leave. I guess I don't know if it will take me to another area where I'm still live with y'all, or would it end my live with y'all and then you know what I mean? I don't know, so I just exit out of it. I'll worry about it later.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But all right, we're just gonna keep on going with the show, and I'm just gonna go ahead and I mean, I can still hear you guys and stuff like that. I mean, we'll see what happens, but I mean, right now this is audio for TikTok, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. So now we're gonna go. It's already 9:05. Shoot, the debate's already started.
You can still hear me on my mic?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. It
happens, man.
Yeah. This is election interference at its best. Here we go. Hey, YouTube, you brought this upon yourself.
According to Biden, corporate greed is the reason for our inflation right now. Has nothing to do with high taxes and government regulation.
For my business because of its massive
So we did a great job. We got a lot of credit for the economy, a lot of credit for the military, and no wars and so many other things. Everything was rocking good. But the thing we never got the credit for, and we should have, is getting us out of that COVID mess. He created mandates that was a disaster for our country. But other than that, we had given them back a country where the stock market actually was higher than pre-COVID, and nobody thought that was even possible. The only jobs he created are for illegal immigrants and bounce back jobs, a bounce back from the COVID. He has not done a good job. He's done a poor job, and inflation's killing our country. It is absolutely killing us.
Thank you. President Biden?
Well, look, the greatest economy in the world. He's the only one who thinks that, I think. I don't know anybody else who thinks he had the greatest economy in the world. And, you know, the fact of the matter is that
here we go with that bullshit.
We found ourselves in a situation where his economy, he rewarded the wealthy. He had the largest tax cut in American history, $2 trillion. He raised a deficit larger than any president has in any one term. He's the only president other than Herbert Hoover who's lost more jobs than he had when he began, since Herbert Hoover. The idea that he did something that was significant. And the military, you know, when he was president, they were still killing people in Afghanistan. He didn't do anything about that. When he was president, we were still finding ourselves in a position where you had a notion that we were this safe country. The truth is, I'm the only president this century that doesn't.
What happened?
What happened, Josh?
Yeah.
That we give you. I want to follow up.
What's up? Sorry.
It stopped. Go ahead and hit play.
Okay. Who has that background music going on? The noise.
It might be me. Let me go again.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's better. All right. I'm gonna hit play. Sorry, guys.
You want to impose a 10% tariff on all goods coming into the U.S. How will you ensure that that doesn't drive prices even higher?
Not going to drive them higher. It's just going to cost countries that have been ripping us off for years, like China and many others, in all fairness to China. It's going to just force them to pay us a lot of money, reduce our deficit tremendously, and give us a lot of power for other things. But he made a statement. The only thing he was right about is I gave you the largest tax cut in history. I also gave you the largest rate in history. That's why we had all the jobs. And the jobs went down and then they bounced back, and he's taking credit for bounce back jobs. You can't do that. He also said he inherited 9% inflation. No, he inherited almost no inflation, and it stayed that way for 14 months. And then it blew up under his leadership because they spent money like a bunch of people that didn't know what they were doing. And they don't know what they were doing. It was probably the worst administration in history. There's never been. And as far as Afghanistan is concerned, I was getting out of Afghanistan, but we were getting out with dignity, with strength, with power. He got out. It was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country's life.
President Trump.
Uh-oh. Hello?
Dude, is it just me, or does these sound way different?
So far, President Biden, you've approved $4.3 trillion.
Did you guys catch that?
So former President Trump, many of the tax cuts that you signed into law are set to expire.
He has a calmer demeanor.
You want to extend them and go even further, you say. With the U.S.
Dude, that shit's glitching, bro. Did you guys see that?
Dude, is it just me, or is Trump? Trump doesn't sound like Trump. There's something off about his voice.
I agree.
It doesn't sound like him at all.
What the heck, bro? This is crazy. Okay, all right.
As facing trillion-dollar deficits and record debt, why should top earners and corporations pay even less in taxes than they do now?
Because the tax cut spurred the greatest economy that we've ever seen just prior to COVID. And even after COVID, it was so strong that we were able to get through COVID much better than just about any other country. But we spurred, that tax spurred. Now, when we cut the taxes, as an example, the corporate tax was cut down to 21% from 39%, plus beyond that. We took in more revenue with much less tax, and companies were bringing back trillions of dollars back into our country. The country was going like never before, and we were ready to start paying down debt. We were ready to start using the liquid gold right under our feet, the oil and gas right under our feet. We were going to have something that nobody else has had. We got hit with COVID.
Hold on.
We did a lot to fix it. I gave him an unbelievable situation.
Say that again?
Are the words off?
we came
From
up
what
with.
he's
They
saying.
are.
Okay.
Yeah, they are.
They are.
Yeah, they are.
They are. See, Trump always has that. You know, at the when he talks, he's
When he
not doing
breathes,
that.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
breathe when he breathes in.
We were right in the middle of it.
Bro, it's
Something which a lot
glitching.
of
It's
people
glitching
don't
on
like to
Trump.
talk
Look at
about.
barely on
But we had
Biden. Look
far
at
more
that
people
shit.
dying
Is
in
this
his days.
AI? Is this AI we're watching?
The vaccine went out. He did a
I
mandate
don't
of
know,
the
bro.
vaccine,
Look at
which
this
I gotta
crap.
look at their hands. Because the hands always give it away.
And he did a very poor job, just a very poor job. And I will tell you, not only poor there, but throughout the entire world, we
And
no
his
longer
chin.
respect the country. They don't respect our leadership. They don't
This is a
respect
computer because
Exactly,
I've got
Kinder.
it playing on my TV
third world
on Real
nation.
America's Voice. It's the same thing, and it's just fine.
Are you?
It's
What?
it's fine on TV.
Yeah.
Oh, here you go with the grain again.
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
at
It's
that.
it's on Real America's Voice right
yeah.
now, and it's playing just fine.
Kit Ryder, I'm just gonna really quickly, you were absolutely correct, and that's why Rumble is shut down right now. This is election interference at its finest. We had to switch over here, and we'll see how long they keep us here. But please share the live so people know we're here and we're talking about this.
Jails and mental institutions to come into our country and destroy our country.
President Trump.
Now that's Trump.
In this block, President Biden. I want to.
That's Trump. But the one before, who was that?
Wait, and he wasn't doing that nasally thing that he does.
Yeah.
Kind of talks through his nose a little bit.
$2 million tax cut benefited the very wealthy. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example,
Read it on TikTok. It's. You're right. That's exactly why they didn't want the media there.
Where they in fact pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24%,
that's why it's an empty audience.
25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 million.
Biden's volume's down.
I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person.
What's going, Joe? What's up, Joey?
Eligible
What's up?
for
What do you know, Joe?
with the,
hey, they tripping on they tripping on YouTube and Rumble,
with
bro.
Everything we have to do with
tripping.
Look, if
get it out,
we
Joe.
finally beat
Come on.
Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
We beat Medicare.
He's right. He
What?
did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare because all of these people are coming in. They're putting them on Medicare. They're putting them on Social Security. They're going to destroy Social Security. This man is going to single-handedly destroy Social Security. These millions and millions of people coming in, they're trying to put them on Social Security. He will wipe out Social Security. He will wipe out Medicare. So he was right in the way he finished that sentence. And it's a shame. What's happened to our country in the last 4 years is not to be believed. Foreign countries, I'm friends with a lot of people. They cannot believe what happened to the United States of America. We're no longer respected. They don't like us. We give them everything they want, and they think we're stupid. They think we're very stupid people. What we're
Joe,
doing
he's
for other
stuttering worse than I
countries,
am.
and they do nothing for us. What this man has done is absolutely criminal.
Thank you, President Trump. Tana?
This is the first presidential election since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. This morning, the court ruled on yet another abortion
here we
case,
go.
temporarily allowing emergency abortions to continue in Idaho.
It has nothing to do with this.
Restrictive ban. Former President Trump, you take credit for the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, which returned the issue of abortion to the states.
Correct.
However,
it should be.
the federal
state's
government
problem.
still plays a role in whether or not women have access to abortion pills.
Yeah, it's
They're
not a
used
constitutional
in
Sure, the state
right.
government.
2/3 of all abortions. As president, would you block abortion medication?
First of all, the Supreme Court just approved the abortion bill, and I agree with their decision to have done that, and I will not block it. And if you look at this whole question that you're asking, complex, but not really complex. 51 years ago, you had Roe v. Wade, and everybody wanted to get it back to the states. Everybody, without exception. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, everybody wanted it back. Religious leaders. And what I did is I put 3 great Supreme Court justices on the court, and they happened to vote in favor of killing Roe v. Wade and moving it back to the states. This is something that everybody wanted.
Oh shit! Hold on. Is Is Rumble up? Because I'm getting notifications from
Man,
Rumble.
this is rough.
Is Rumble on?
Mine's still not coming up. Oh, it says bad gateway.
What happened, dude? It was playing. What the heck
Yeah, I'm getting a 502 error, bad gateway.
What in the world is this crap? Oh man. Now it's not even playing the debate anymore. It was before, now it's not. Wow.
Can you try like to restart the connection or something with that page?
I
refresh the page.
Yeah, so I'm getting that. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it says 502 bad gateway.
What's that on?
It's
I'm using my iPad and my laptop, and it's coming up both.
Was that for Rumble or something?
And Safari.
I mean, you guys are experiencing this in real time, TikTok. Yeah, you guys are in the this is crazy, man.
Yeah, so for anybody who might see this on their For You page, click on this live, please, so that you can see in real time what election interference looks like. Rumble has been shut down, and so we had to come over here to TikTok. So if you still don't think that there's election interference, here it is.
Okay, here we go. Let's see if that'll play. No, yeah, you don't need more of my money, Joe. Screw you, bro.
This is wild, man.
It is.
Guys,
like, share, and subscribe to the podcast.
Look,
if you
the
guys
polls are
on
just as
YouTube,
tight this time around.
please
In a
like,
race
share,
this
and
close,
subscribe
every single
on
dollar makes a
YouTube.
difference.
You guys see
I
us
haven't
here.
asked this lately, but $5 or $10, whatever you can spare, would mean so much to
Give
come.
Trigger a follow. Give
Thank you
Bearded
for
J
considering
Bob a
this.
follow
Thank you,
on TikTok,
thank you.
and give Miss Stevie a follow on TikTok as well. This is insane, man.
Oh, go to TikTok. Oh, hold on, I'm gonna mute myself.
That's where they wanted it. Every legal scholar wanted it that way.
Staying on the topic of abortion, President Biden, 7 states, I'll let you do that. This is the same topic. 7 states have no legal restrictions on how far into a pregnancy a woman can obtain an abortion. Do you support any legal limits on how late a woman should be able to terminate a pregnancy?
I support Roe v. Wade, which had 3 trimesters. First time is between
Which was a
woman and
farce.
Second
It's
time
been
Exactly.
proven.
and an extreme situation.
Norma McCorvey was
Third
an
time is
actress.
between
And she came out and did a whole documentary about how she was forced to go up there and say the words they wrote on paper.
Yeah, right before she
They
died,
paid
right?
her. They didn't force her. They paid her to
But she
do it.
didn't want to do it. She changed her mind, and they forced her to do it so that she could be their poster child.
Exactly.
That's what you're going to do. And if I'm elected, I'm going to restore Roe v. Wade.
So that means he can take the life of the baby in the 9th month.
How about let's not make
and even
this
after birth, because some states
like
Democrat run
about our
take it
politics
after
shouldn't
birth.
be
They
about
did
just
former
their
governor
need
Virginia.
to abort babies.
Maybe
Like, what about the
governor of the state
economy?
do.
What about the fact that people
He's-
are now
he's
starting to
willing
post
they rip
the
the baby
receipts from
out
2 or
in
3
the
years
9th
ago and just hitting
kill the baby.
reorder, and that
Nobody
order
wants
being
that.
3 times?
Democrat or Republican. Nobody wants it.
People
that
need
way.
to be visual learners.
That is simply
Well,
not
they're playing
true.
off the emotions,
Roe v. Wade
as,
does not
as we all
provide
know.
for that.
The emotions. This is emotional. They're always.
That's all they have in the left is emotion.
Yeah.
No
Exactly.
logic.
Not for late-term abortion.
Exactly.
Period.
Under Roe v. Wade, you have late-term abortion. You can do whatever you want, depending on the state. You can do whatever you want.
How is he
We don't
speaking
think
in
that's a
full
good thing. We
sentences?
think it's a radical thing. We think the Democrats are the radicals, not the Republicans.
Has he blinked
51
yet?
years, that was the law. 51
Who,
years.
Biden or
Congress
Trump?
said it was the right way
He
to
never
go.
blinks.
50 years, and it was taken away because this guy put very conservative members on the Supreme Court. He takes credit for taking it away. What's he going to do? What's he going to do? In fact,
Roe v.
if
Wade.
the MAGA
James.
Republicans,
He
he
said
gets
Roe
elected,
v.
and
Wade.
MAGA
I
Yeah,
didn't
Roe
catch
v.
that.
Wade.
universal ban on abortion, period.
But did he say in the last debates that he was going to overturn Roe v. Wade, like he was going to redo what
Yes,
Trump
he did.
undid?
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
Sign it.
he
Yes,
failed it.
but
He
he
didn't
doesn't
do
have
it.
the power in the SCOTUS.
We also grew up in Puerto Rico. He also went to law school in
the southern border on your
in
watch.
Delaware.
Border states and overburdening
Everywhere he
cities such as
goes,
New
he's
York
had
and
that.
Chicago,
He was
and
a
in some
truck
cases caused a real
driver.
safety and security
Yeah.
concern. Given
Oh
that,
yeah,
why
he's an
should voters
international
trust
lover.
you to solve this
Mhm.
crisis?
Because we worked very hard to get a bipartisan agreement that not only changed all of that, it made sure that we are in a situation where you had no circumstance where they could come across the border with the number of border police there are now.
That's a lie.
We significantly increased the number of asylum officers.
What's
Significantly.
up,
By
sweet?
the way, the border patrol endorsed my position. In addition to that, we found ourselves in a situation where when he was president, he was separating babies from their mothers, putting them in cages.
That was
sure
Obama.
the family
Exactly.
That's not the right way to go. What I've done since I've changed the law, what's happened? I've changed it in a way that now you're in a situation where there are 40% fewer people coming across the border illegally. That's better than when he left office. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative.
Spit it out, boy.
We can do with more border patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence.
Look at Biden's face.
We have the safest border in the history of our country. The border, all
Got
he
him.
had to do was leave it. All he had to do
He's
was
just
leave it.
like,
He decided to open up our border, open up
Ooh, pretty bird.
Yeah.
from prisons. People
Oh, look at
left
those
from
lights. He's like,
mental
he's like,
institutions.
ooh.
Hey, look at
Oh, he's
that.
watching the lights.
With the largest number of terrorists coming into our country right now, all terrorists all over the world, not just in South America, all over the world. They come from the Middle East, everywhere, all over the world. They're pouring in, and this guy just left it open, and he didn't need legislation because I didn't have legislation. I said close the border. We had the safest border in history. In that final couple of months of my presidency, we had, according to Border Patrol, who is great, and by the way, who endorsed me for president, but I won't say that, but they endorsed me for president.
Look at that. Look at that.
Speak to him. But look, we had the
This dude,
safest
bro.
border in history.
Come
We had
on,
the worst border in
man.
history. There's
oh,
never
Trump
been
wants to
anything like
interrupt
it.
so bad.
And people are dying all over the place, including the people that are coming up in
Thank you, President
caravans.
Trump. President Biden?
The only terrorist who's done anything crossing the border is one who came along.
Hey, Joe, yeah.
And there's
He's confused.
killed an Al-Qaeda person and his administration. Killed three
There you go.
soldiers. Killed three
I'm
American
sorry, I'm just
soldiers.
going to throw that in
That's
there
the
every
only
now and then.
terrorist that's there.
There you
I'm
go.
not
Tell
saying
him to
anything
stop, I
territory
will.
about them. The idea they're emptying their prisons. We're welcoming these people.
No, do it.
That's
Don't
simply
stop.
not true. There's no data to support what he said. Once again, he's exaggerating. He's lying.
President Trump, staying on the topic of immigration, you've said that you're going to carry out, quote, the largest domestic deportation operation in American history, unquote. Does that mean that you will deport every
I just did a
undocumented
Biden.
immigrant in America, including those who have jobs, including those whose spouses are citizens, and including those who have lived here for decades? And if so, how will you do it?
Just 1 second. He said we killed three people. The people we killed are al-Baghdadi
There you
and
go.
Soleimani, the two
Soleimani.
greatest terrorists, biggest terrorists anywhere in the world. And it had a huge impact on everything, not just
Look at
border,
Biden's
on
face.
everything.
Oh.
He's the one that killed everything.
I see lights.
Thousands of people dying. And also killing
He's like, these
our
drugs
citizens.
ain't kicking in yet.
No.
We are living right now in a rat's nest. They're killing our people in New York, in California, in every state in the union because we don't have borders anymore. Every state is now a border. And because of his ridiculous, insane, and very stupid policies, people are coming in and they're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen. We call it migrant crime. I call it Biden migrant crime. They're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen before. And you're reading it like these three incredible young girls over the last
Like,
few
share,
days.
and
One
subscribe
of
to
them had just spoke to the
LOD
mother, and he just had the
podcast
funeral
on
for this girl,
YouTube. You
12
guys can
years
find
old.
us.
This is
Because Rumble's
horrible
down.
what's taken place. What's
Subscribe
taken place
to
in our country.
Like
We're
Stevie,
literally an
TikTok
uncivilized country
page
now.
and
He
Triggers
doesn't want it
page
to be. He
and
just doesn't know.
Beard
He
J
opened
Bob
the
too,
borders.
guys.
Nobody's
Come on.
ever seen anything like. And we have to
Let's
get a
go.
lot of these people out, and we have to get them out fast because they're going to destroy our
If you
country.
don't,
Just
you're not
take a look
American.
at where they're living. They're living in luxury hotels in New York City and other places. Our veterans are on the street. They're dying because he doesn't care about our veterans. He doesn't care. He
Yep.
doesn't like the military
Facts.
at all. And he doesn't care about our veterans. Nobody been worse. I had the highest approval rating for veterans taking care of the VA. He has the worst. He's gotten rid of all the things that I approved. Choice that I got through Congress, all of the different things I approved, they abandoned. We had by far the highest, and now it's down in less than half because he's done all these great things that we did. And I think he did it just because I approved it, which is crazy. But he has killed so many people at our border by allowing all of these people to come in. And it's a very sad day in America.
President Biden, you have the mic.
Every single thing he said is a lie. Every single one. For example, veterans are a hell of a lot better off since I passed the PACT Act. 1 million of them now have insurance, and their families have it. Their families have it because what happened, whether it was Agent Orange or burn pits, they're all being covered now. And he opposed, his group opposed that. We're also in a situation where we have great respect for veterans. My son spent a year in Iraq, living right next to one of those burn pits, came back with stage 4 glioma.
Oh, here we go, talking about Joe and his kids.
In France for D-Day. And I spoke all about those heroes that died. I went to the World War II cemetery.
There's that little tiny violin.
He refused to go to. He was standing with his 4-star general.
Look at your watch, Joe. Look at your watch.
Because they're a bunch of losers and suckers. My son was
Nothing has ever made me as angry as that man looking at his watch.
President Trump?
Exactly.
First of all, that was a made-up quote, suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines. He made that up. He put it in commercials. We've notified him. We had 19 people that said I didn't say it. And think of this. Who would say I'm at a cemetery or I'm
He said it towards John McCain.
Exactly. And John McCain was it.
And he brought it up.
I don't know what I'm allowed to say here, but
better care of our soldiers than I have.
Say it.
Still not working.
John McCain was a traitor.
Generals and others, suckers and losers. We have
he didn't. That's why the flag on his coffin wrinkled.
It was never said by me. It was.
So look at it. You can look at the pictures. My husband's a disabled veteran. He did 3 tours in Iraq. He's almost made up. Like, these are things I know. 21 years watching him serve over in Iraq. I know the protocol. They don't send them home with flags on their coffins that are wrinkled unless they are traitors.
It wasn't Russia disinformation.
And the flag on his coffin was very wrinkled.
Right now.
Oh, wow.
It's a sign of disrespect.
You said it.
Oh, it is? Wow.
Yes.
That's number one.
I didn't know that.
Number two,
Thank you for thank you for that. Thank you for that info. That's awesome.
Along the line.
Yeah, if you go back and look at his funeral, it's
American history, and they now are in their family. The only sacred obligation we have as a country is to care for our veterans when they come home and their families, and equip them when they go to war. That's what we're doing. That's what the VA is doing now. They're doing more for veterans than ever before in our history.
All right, thank you so much.
No, they're not. You're taking the money from the veterans and giving it to the
against Ukraine, which
legal
is now in its third year.
immigrants.
And
Former
sending
President
it to
Trump,
Ukraine and giving it to the
Russian
immigrants.
President Vladimir Putin
Correct.
says he'll only end this war if Russia keeps the Ukrainian territory it has already claimed and Ukraine abandons its bid to join NATO. Are Putin's terms acceptable to you?
First of all, our veterans and our soldiers can't stand this guy. They can't stand him. They think he's the worst commander in chief, if that's what you call him, that we've ever had. They can't stand him. So let's get that straight. And they like me more than just about any of them. And that's based on every single bit of information. As far as Russia and Ukraine, if we had a real president, the president that knew, that was respected by Putin, he would have never invaded Ukraine. A lot of people are dead right now, much more than people know. You know, they talk about numbers. You can double those numbers, maybe triple those numbers. He did nothing to stop it. In fact, I think he encouraged
Rumble's back up, by the way.
I'll tell you what happened. He was so bad with Afghanistan. It was such a horrible embarrassment, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, that when Putin watched that and he saw the incompetence, that he should have fired those generals, like I fired the one that you mentioned. And so he's got no love lost, but he should have fired those generals. No general got fired for the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, Afghanistan, where we left billions of dollars of equipment behind. We lost 13 beautiful soldiers, and 38 soldiers were obliterated. And by the way, we left people behind too. We left American citizens.
I'm gonna jump off of
When
TikTok
Putin
now.
saw that, he
Okay.
said, "You know what?
You want to
I think we're
rumble?
gonna go in and maybe take my."
Yes, ma'am. We're on
this is
Rumble
his
now.
dream. I talked to him about it. His dream. The
By
difference is
TikTok.
he
Hey, yo, go
never
follow
would
us
have
on Rumble
invaded
and on YouTube.
Ukraine. Never
Come and check
Just
it
like
out.
Israel would have never been invaded in a million years by Hamas. You know why? Because Iran was broke with me. I wouldn't let anybody do business with them. They ran out of money. They were broke. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for anything, no money for terror. That's why you had no terror at all during my administration. This place, the whole world is blowing up under him.
President Biden?
Shut up, Biden. Really? Trigger, where did you go, bro?
Trigger, come back.
Oh, he said, sorry, got to run. Oh, he left. Okay.
Oh, Trigger had to go.
Yeah, he had to run.
I wonder if everything's okay.
Yeah, I hope so.
Trying to sign in on my TikTok on my son's phone, and for some weird reason, it's not working. What happened with the debates?
I'm sorry.
No,
There you go.
No, they're not acceptable.
I stopped sharing it
But
accidentally.
look, this is a war that never should have started. If we had a leader in this war, he led everybody along. He's given $200 billion now or more to Ukraine. He's given $200 billion. That's a lot of money. I don't think there's ever been anything like it. Every time that Zelensky comes to this country, he walks away with $60 billion. He's the greatest salesman ever.
That's facts.
I'm not
Not a
knocking it.
lie.
I'm only saying the money that we're spending on this war, and we shouldn't be spending, it should have never happened. I will have that war settled between Putin and Zelensky as president-elect before I take office on January 20th. I'll have that war settled. People being killed so needlessly, so stupidly, and I will get it settled, and I'll get it settled fast before I take office.
President Biden, you have a minute.
The fact is that Putin is a war criminal. He's killed thousands and thousands of people. And he has made one thing clear. He wants to reestablish what was part of the Soviet Empire, not just a piece. He wants all of Ukraine. That's what he wants. And then you think he'll stop there? Do you think he'll stop when if he takes Ukraine? What do you think happens to Poland? What do you think of Belarus? What do you think happens to those NATO countries? And so if you want a war, you ought to find out what he's going to do, because if in fact he does what he says and walks away, by the way, all that money we give Ukraine are from weapons we make here in the United States. We give them the weapons, not the money at this point. And our NATO allies have produced as much funding for Ukraine as we have. That's why we're strong.
Thank you. Moving on to the Middle East. In October,
You idiot! We're trying to prevent this war. That's what Trump's about. Where Russia doesn't want the war.
among
Yeah.
those
You,
held
oh my
hostage still
God!
alive are 5 Americans.
And even though we're not
Israel's
giving them money,
response
we're
has
giving
killed
them
thousands of
money in a
Palestinians
way,
and
but we're
created a
giving them
humanitarian
money
crisis in Gaza.
in
President
weapons.
Biden,
That's
you've put
that.
forward a
But didn't they
proposal
attack
to
Trump
resolve
at the
conflict.
end of his presidency
So far,
because he
Hamas
wouldn't
has
send
not
them
released
the,
Yeah,
all the the tools
additional
for the said
Mhm.
war?
You're right.
So what additional leverage will you use to get Hamas and
Even though he's not
Israel
sending
to
money,
end the
he's
war? You
sending
have 2
equipment,
minutes.
which we
Everyone.
are still paying for.
Everyone from the United
Exactly.
Nations Security Council straight through to the G7 to the Israelis and Netanyahu himself have endorsed the plan I put forward. Which has 3 stages to it. The first stage is trade the hostages for a ceasefire. Second phase is a ceasefire with additional conditions. The third phase is the end of the war.
Can you turn it up a little bit?
Sure.
Continue as Hamas.
Got it.
Number one, they're the only ones standing out.
That's it.
We're still pushing hard to get them to accept. In the meantime, what's happened in Israel? We're finding that the only thing I've denied Israel was 2,000-pound bombs. They don't work very well in populated areas. They kill a lot of innocent people. We're providing Israel with all the weapons they need and when they need them. And by the way, I'm the guy that organized the world against Iran when they had a full-blown intercontinental ballistic missile attack on Israel. No one was hurt. No one Israeli was accidentally killed, and it stopped. We saved Israel. We are the biggest producer of support for Israel of anyone in the world.
You started the war on Israel, dude. By releasing the funds for Iran.
And our intelligence people as to how they can get Hamas like we did bin Laden. You don't have to do it. And by the way, they've been greatly weakened, Hamas, greatly weakened, and they should be. They should be eliminated. But you've got to be careful.
Trump, man, he wants to like go off, bro. Look at him.
Population centers.
Yeah, you can see it in his eyes.
Yeah.
Just going back to Ukraine for 1 second. We have an ocean separating us. The European nations together have spent 100 billion or maybe more than that, less than us. Why doesn't he call them? So you got to put up your money like I did with NATO. I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. The Secretary General of NATO said Trump did the most incredible job I've ever seen. They wouldn't have any, they were going out of business. We were spending almost 100% of the money was paid by us. He didn't do that. He's getting all, you got to ask these people to put up the money. We're over $100 billion more spent, and it has a bigger impact on them because of location, because we have an ocean in between. You got to ask them as far as Israel and Hamas. Israel's the one that wants to go. He said the only one that wants to keep going is Hamas. Actually, Israel is the one, and you should let him go and let him finish the job. He doesn't want to do it. He's become like a Palestinian, but they don't like him because he's a very bad Palestinian. He's the weak one.
President Biden, you have a minute.
I've never heard so much foolishness. This is a guy who wants to get out of NATO. Are you going to stay in NATO? He's going to pull out of NATO.
Why
The
not?
idea that we have our
Exactly.
alliances as well. It may be a big ocean, but we're ever able to avoid a war in Europe, a major war in Europe? What happens if, in fact,
Hey, Biden, when are you going to understand that we don't care about no other countries but America first, baby?
The nuclear war he keeps talking about?
Come on, man.
We literally had not one single war under Trump. We
No.
had two under this idiot.
It happens then.
Yeah.
He has no idea what the hell he's talking about. And by the way, I got 50 other nations around the world to support Ukraine, including Japan and South Korea, because they understand that this kind of dislocation has a serious threat to the whole world peace. No major war in Europe has ever been able to be contained just to Europe.
President Trump, just to follow up, would you support the creation of an independent Palestinian state in order to achieve peace in the region?
I'd have to
I was
see
gonna
what
reset
they
it,
do
isn't it?
that. The problem we have is that we spend all the money. So they kill us on trade. I make great trade deals with the European nations because if you add them up, they're about the same size economically. Their economy is about the same size as the United States. And they were no cars, they don't want anything that we have, but we're supposed to take their cars, their food, their everything, their agriculture. I changed that. But the big thing I changed is they don't want to pay. And the only reason that he can play games with NATO is because I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. I said, and he's right about this. I said, no, I'm not going to support NATO if you don't pay. They asked me that question. Would you guard us against Russia at a very secret meeting of the 28
Mic drop.
at that time, nations at that time? And they said, no, if you don't pay, I won't do that. And you know what happened? Billions and billions of dollars came flowing in the next day and the next months. But now we're in the same position. We're paying everybody.
I love the way he says billions and billions.
Former President
exactly.
Trump, I want to ask you about January 6, 2021.
Oh, here we
After
go.
you rallied your supporters that day, some of them stormed the Capitol to stop the constitutionally mandated counting of electoral votes. As president, you swore an oath to, quote, preserve, protect, and defend, unquote, the Constitution.
He tried.
What do you say to voters who believe that you violated that oath
You did
through
it.
your actions and inaction on January 6th and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I don't think too many believe that. And let me tell you about January 6th. On January 6th, we had a great border. Nobody coming through, very few. On January 6th, we were energy independent. On January 6th, we had the lowest taxes ever. We had the lowest regulations ever. On January 6th, we were respected all over the world. All over the world, we were respected. And then he comes in and we're now laughed at. We're like a bunch of stupid people. That what happened to the United States' reputation under this man's leadership is horrible, including weaponization, which I'm sure at some point you'll be talking about, where he goes after his political opponent because he can't beat him fair and square.
Exactly.
You
He's
have
doing it
80
tonight
seconds left. My question was, what do you say to those voters who believe that you violated your constitutional oath through your actions and inaction on January 6,
He
2021,
didn't.
and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I didn't say that to
You mean to
anybody.
tell me
I
he
said
attempted a
peacefully
coup?
and patriotically. And Nancy Pelosi, if you
He was
just
still
watched
president,
the
bro.
news from 2 days
He
ago,
was still
or
president.
tape to her daughter, who's a documentary
As Trigger and I
filmmaker,
discussed
they
on
say.
the 14th Amendment,
But you're
Canada,
saying,
14th
oh,
Amendment.
no, it's my
You
responsibility.
mean
I
to
was
tell me
responsible for this. Because I offered her
he
10,000
attempted a coup on
soldiers or
himself?
National
Like,
Guard.
that's stupid. Why
and
would
she
he do
turned
that?
him down. And the mayor of,
Yeah,
in
exactly.
writing, by the way, the mayor, in writing, turned it down. The mayor of D.C. They turned it down. I offered 10,000 because I could see, I had virtually nothing to do. They asked me to go make a speech. I could see what was happening. Everybody was saying they're going to be there on January 6th. They're going to be there. And I said, you know what? There's a lot of people coming. You could feel it. You could feel it too, and you could feel it. And I said, they ought to have some National Guard or whatever. And I offered it to her. And she now admits that she turned it down. And it was the same day she was, I don't know, she can't be very happy with her daughter because it made her into a liar. She said, I take full responsibility for January 6th.
President Biden?
Look, he encouraged those folks to go up on Capitol Hill, number one.
What the fuck is he
I
talking
sat
about?
in
What
the
did he say?
dining room off the Oval Office. He sat there for
They've
3
already
hours.
proven he didn't.
3 hours watching, being begged by his vice president and a number of his colleagues on the Republican side as well to do something, to call for a stop, to
I'll
end
be
it.
right back, guys.
Instead, they talked about these people being patriots and great patrons of America. In fact, he says he'll now forgive them for what they've done. They've been convicted. He says he wants to commute their sentences and say that no. He went to every single court in the nation. I don't know how many cases, scores of cases, including the Supreme Court. And they said, no, this guy is responsible for doing what was done. He did do a damn thing. And these people should be in jail. And they should be the ones who are being held accountable. And he wants to let them all out. And now he says if he loses again, such a whiner that he is, that there could be a bloodbath.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
He never said that.
To some people
Never.
that are so innocent, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. What you have done, how you've destroyed the lives of so many people when they ripped down Portland, when they ripped down many other cities. You go to Minnesota, Minneapolis, what they've done there with the fires all over the city. If I didn't bring in the National Guard, that city would have been destroyed. When you look at all of they took over big chunks of Seattle. I was all set to bring in the National Guard. They heard that. They saw them coming and
Yeah,
they
Chaz.
left immediately. What he said about this whole subject is so off. Peacefully patriotic. One other thing. The Unselect Committee, which is basically two horrible Republicans that are all gone now out of office, and Democrats, all Democrats, they destroyed and deleted all of the information they found because they found out we were right. We were right. And they deleted and destroyed all of the information. They should go to jail for that. If a Republican did that, they'd go to jail.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, I want to give you a minute.
The only person on this stage is a convicted felon is the man I'm looking at right now.
There it is. There it is.
He's
Yeah.
telling you simply not
There's
true.
one.
Fact is
Yep.
that there was
Took a
no
while. I thought it
effort
would be sooner.
to stop what was going on up in Capitol Hill. And all those people, every one of those who were convicted, deserves to be convicted. The idea that they didn't kill somebody, just went in and broke down doors, broke the windows, occupied offices, turned over desks, turned them over statues.
If that was really an
Those
insurrection,
people are patriots.
guys, you guys would have known. You know what I mean?
Ask them the first two
Like,
debates we
that's-
had, the debates we had first time around.
that
I said,
insurrection
"Will
was
you
set up.
denounce the
Oh.
problem?"
If it was an insurrection, Biden wouldn't be president right now.
If it was
Exactly.
a true insurrection,
You
people would have
denounce
shown
these
up with
guys?
like
You
weapons
denounce
and
the
everything,
people
and they
that did that?
didn't.
You
So
denounce the people
Right.
who attacked that Capitol. What are you going to do?
100% a setup.
And what about all the videos of inside when it happened, when these people were screaming, Antifa stopped them, they're destroying things.
Exactly.
Yep.
Trump supporters were saying that.
Yeah, they were
Right.
trying to pull him down off the building as they were
Yes.
busting windows
Yes. Yes, and there was fights between the two people, the people that were destroying it and the actual true Trump supporters.
Yeah, and
And
they
because the Trump
had
supporters were stopping them.
literally
Well, I said
no
my
security
retribution is going to be
whatsoever.
successful. Right.
You had 500,000 or more people, and they had 6 officers at those steps. 6.
But when he talks about
Right. And then what about what's his name?
They were all in black. They had no official anything on. They were just in black, like SWAT gear. That was it.
Yeah, and look at what's his name, Epps. He was going around telling everybody, "Hey, we need to storm the castle. We need to do it right now."
Yep.
You know what I mean? He went around, and nothing happened to him.
Yeah, he's a federal informant.
Yeah,
exactly. It's a setup.
Follow the money trail.
And then all the cops that were there were letting them in and guiding them through. Come on.
They opened the doors and let those people in willingly.
Yeah,
And
and laughing and joking about it too.
They locked them in. They locked the doors after they let so many people in, and they had them in there until the unnecessary. I don't know what word I'm allowed to use, but dispatching of Ashley Babbitt, and that's when they decided to unlock the doors and let the people out. Because at that point it was mass chaos, and that's when like National Guard and other police officers were allowed in, like actual police officers.
Simply wrong. No president's ever spoken like that before.
And they should never have let that man get away with her.
Number 3.
Exactly.
Death.
But you know what? A lot of people don't realize this, and nobody talks about it. The whole speech that Trump did, talking about marching to the Capitol and do it patriotically and peacefully, that wasn't the first time he did that. He did that 2 years prior to that.
Yep.
My wife was pregnant. I mean,
He's always asked for peaceful protests. Always.
Yeah.
What's he talking about? Here, hold on.
Yeah. Okay. Is there a way you can rewind that for a minute?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Started and
the idea that I did anything wrong relative to what you're talking about is outrageous. It's simply a lie. Number 1.
This country successful again, because right now it's a failing nation. My retribution is going to be a success. But when he talks about a convicted felon, his son is a convicted felon at a very high level.
Get him.
Numerous other things. Should have been convicted before, but his Justice Department let the statute of limitations lapse on the most important things. But he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. Joe could be a convicted felon with all of the things that he's done. He's done horrible things. All of the death caused at the border, telling the Ukrainian people that we're going to want $1 billion or you change the prosecutor. Otherwise, you're not getting $1 billion. If I ever said that, that's quid pro quo.
Yes.
We're not going
Pay to play.
We're not going to give you $1 billion unless you change your prosecutor having to do with the son. This man is a criminal. This man, you're lucky. You're lucky. I did nothing wrong. We'd have a system that was rigged and disgusting. I did nothing wrong.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, I'm coming right to you, sir. You want to respond? Go ahead. I'll give you a minute to respond.
The idea that I did anything wrong relative to what you're talking about is outrageous. It's simply a lie, number 1. Number 2, the idea that you have a right to seek retribution against any American just because you're president is
You
wrong.
guys are doing that right
Simply
now.
wrong. No president's ever spoken
Yep.
like that
That's
before.
why they're trying so hard.
Number 3, the crimes that you are still charged with. And think of all the civil penalties you have. How many billions of dollars in civil penalties for molesting a woman in public, for doing a whole range of things?
That wasn't even,
On the night while your wife was pregnant. I mean, what are you talking about? You have the morals of an alley cat.
Oh, we don't
I
want to
didn't
go
have
there.
sex with a porn star, number 1. Number 2, that was a case that was started and moved. They moved a high-ranking official, a DOJ, into the Manhattan DA's office to start that case. That case is going to be appealed and won. We had a very terrible judge, a horrible judge, Democrat. The prosecutor were all high-ranking Democrats, appointed people, and both the civil and the criminal. He basically went after his political opponent because he thought it was going to damage me. But when the public found out about these cases, because they understand it better than he does, he has no idea what these cases are. But when they
Who's Biden looking at? His handlers?
My poll numbers
for sure.
me up. You know,
He
that
got an
gives a
earpiece.
and we took in more money in the last 2 weeks than we've ever taken in the history of any campaign. I don't think any campaign has ever taken. Hundreds of millions of dollars came pouring in because the public knows it's a scam, and it's a guy that's after his political opponent because he can't win fair and square.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, quote, Donald Trump and his MAGA Republicans are determined to destroy American
MAGA.
democracy.
No,
Do you believe
we're a
that the tens
constitutional
of millions
republic.
of Americans who are likely to vote for President Trump will be voting against American democracy?
The more they know about what he's done, yes. The more they know about what he's done. And there's a lot more coming. He's got a lot of cases down the road coming around. He's got a whole range of issues he has to face. I don't know what the juries will do, but I do know he has a real problem. And so the fact that, could you ever think you hear any president say that I'm going to seek retribution? Do you ever hear any president say that I thought Hitler had some good ideas? What got me involved to run the first place after my son had died, I decided in Iraq, because of Iraq, I said I wasn't going to run again until I saw what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia. People coming out of the woods carrying swastikas on torches, and singing the same anti-Semitic bile they sang when back in Germany. And the young woman got killed. They spoke to the mother, and they asked him. They said, "What do you think of those people? The ones who got killed, the one who tried to stop it, and the ones," he said, "I think they're fine people on both sides." What American president would ever say Nazis coming out of fields carrying
They've already
torches,
proven that.
whole
Did he just say his son died in Germany?
His son
I
died
thought I
of
heard I
a
read.
freaking brain tumor.
Okay, maybe I just heard. Maybe I heard wrong. I thought I heard him say he died in Germany.
He's also
No,
said he
I
died
heard.
during combat.
President
And,
Trump.
and I applaud his son for serving our country, which was Bo, but he died from a brain tumor.
Exoneration on
Yep.
this. So he just keeps it going. He says he ran because of Charlottesville. He didn't run because of Charlottesville. He ran because it was his
He's
last
trying
chance.
to be like, I don't know,
He's
man.
not equipped to be president. You know.
And if
I
they
know.
play the
They
whole
can-
tape from
we're trying
Charlottesville
to
and
justify
not just
his
that little
presidency.
clip,
His presidency
way
is
out of
easy.
context.
Without
Right.
question, the worst president, the worst presidency in
Hit
the
that
history
like,
of our
share, and
country.
subscribe, guys.
We shouldn't be
Hit
having
that
a
sub
debate
button.
about it. There's nothing
Yes.
to
Let's
debate.
go.
He made up the Charlottesville story, and you'll see it's debunked all over the place. Every anchor every reasonable anchor has debunked it. And just the other
Exactly.
day, it came out, it was fully debunked. It's a nonsense story. He knows that, and he didn't run because of Charlottesville. He used that as an excuse to run.
President Biden.
And
He
debunked.
ran
It
because
happened.
Obama needed a
Yeah,
third
yeah,
term.
what was said at the time.
Yeah.
And the
Well,
idea
he's
that
got. Well, no,
somehow that's the
no,
only
it's
reason I
conspiracy
ran.
theory.
I ran because I was
Conspiracy
worried a
theory,
guy like
guys.
this guy could get elected.
If you saw Obama lead him off the stage recently, he was showing who was really in
carrying
control.
those woods,
Exactly.
carrying those torches, then he didn't deserve to be president. Didn't deserve to be president at all. And the idea that he's talking about all this being fabricated, we saw with our own eyes. We saw what happened on January 6th. We saw the people breaking through the windows. We saw people occupying his own vice president. Look, there's a reason why 40 of
Ask
his
Nancy
44
Pelosi.
top cabinet officers refused to endorse him this time. His vice president hasn't endorsed him this time. So why?
Nobody's
why would he?
endorsing Mike Pence.
Why are they not endorsing him?
He's a
Thank you,
traitor.
President Biden. We're going to be right back with more.
Even
from the
BLM
CNN
endorsed
presidential debate.
Trump.
Yep.
Do you know how many people in the Bronx showed up for him?
Yeah,
When
exactly.
AOC and everybody else said no one was going to show up in the Bronx for him, and he had
Yeah.
record crowds, and all those people like, no, I'm a Democrat, but I'm voting for Trump. Period. Because no president has ever come into the city to actually show us that he cares about our issues.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yep.
Yeah. I wanted to show you guys real quick before this deal. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but I wanted to share this with you guys. Nobel economist bash Trump, held Biden in pre-debate inflation attack. 16 Nobel Prize-winning economists, all unabashed liberals, have unleashed a partisan attack against Donald Trump on the first presidential debate. In a letter, the economists claimed that former President Donald Trump could stoke inflation if he wins the presidency in November and implements his economic plans. It's highly likely that President Joe Biden or even the debate moderators will cite the letter during Thursday night's debate. Americans are concerned about inflation, which has come down remarkably fast. There is rightly a worry that Donald Trump. Yeah, exactly. And then this is what they put here. There is rightly a worry that Donald Trump will reignite the inflation with his fiscally irresponsible budgets, the economist claims, but without evidence. Claims without evidence.
Without evidence.
Yeah, correct me. This is a 16th Nobel Prize winning economist.
They're all scratching each other's.
Yep.
Head. They're scratching each other's head.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, I don't trust anyone.
Mm-hmm.
My kids are even suspect sometimes.
You know, I got a confession to make about my thoughts on Trump. Okay, I don't know if I told you this or not, Liberty, but back in 2016 when I heard he was running for president, I was like, this is a joke. There's no way this is happening, you know, because I used to have this hate towards Trump that was like, it was all match. You know, any rap artist that sang about Trump, like wanting to be Trump, I never would listen to him. I had a hate towards Trump, and it wasn't a left versus right thing. It was just I didn't like him ever since the TV show he had. You know,
he was obnoxious. I mean,
right, and then because see, I was actually, believe it or not, I was rooting for Huckabee. I really like Huckabee during the 2016. My second pick would have been Rubio and then Carson, and those were my top three. And then my dad, he switched from Rubio to Trump almost immediately. You know what I mean? And and then me and my dad, we got into some arguments about it. You know, like I really hated Trump. You know, and it wasn't until, and I said this in one of my videos on TikTok, it wasn't until he started talking about draining the swamp. That's when I started focusing. That's when I really started watching Trump, and I'm like, wait a minute. You know, he's on to something here. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then I switched from, you know what? Okay, I'm going to vote for Trump because I do like this ideal. But I also said, and you can see this on my Facebook account, I said that Trump would be one of the best presidents this country has ever seen his first 4 years. But I will not let him come back during his second term because I don't trust him like that. And I said that multiple times. And it wasn't until 2020 I became, like I said to you earlier, and one of my videos earlier is, it wasn't until 2020 when I went from a Trump voter to a Trump supporter. And I became a Trump supporter after all the lies and the cheating and the violence that we started seeing displaying during the, 2020. You know, and that's when I woke up, I'm like, wait a minute. And that's when I started seeing how much he truly loved our country.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd certainly face again
Yeah,
in the second
let's
term.
hit back this. Yeah.
President Biden, while Black unemployment dropped to a record low under your presidency, Black families still earn far less than white families. Black mothers are still 3 times more likely to
like, what?
from pregnancy-related causes.
She just said Black unemployment was low
at 5 times the rate of white Americans.
Oh, Jesus, be
What do you say
offense.
to Black voters who are disappointed that you haven't made more progress?
They acknowledge they made a lot of progress, number one. The fact of the matter is there are more small Black businesses that have been started than any time in history. Number two, the wages of Black unemployment is the lowest level it's been in a long, long time. Number three, we're trying to provide housing for Black Americans and dealing with the segregation that exists among these corporate operations that collude to keep.
Is he literally sitting here arguing with his own people?
Yep.
The impact on the choice that Black families have to make relative to childcare is incredibly difficult.
What the fuck is the meds are wearing off? The meds are wearing off.
I was able to reduce Black childcare costs. I cut them in half. We got to make sure we provide for childcare costs. We got to make sure, because when you provide those childcare protections, you increase economic growth because more people come in. So there's more to be done, considerably more to be done. but we've done a great deal so far, and I'm not letting up, and they know it.
You have 49 seconds left. What do you say to Black voters who are disappointed with the progress so far?
I say I don't blame them for being disappointed. Inflation is still hurting them badly. For example, I provided for the idea that any Black family, first-time home buyer should get
He's coaching them.
Absolutely. Soft
So they can get
questions.
started. I made sure that we're in a situation where all those Black families and those Black individuals who provided
They
to help
Trump's
to
like,
take out student
dude.
loans that were ballooning, that if they were engaged in nursing, doctor, and anything having to do with volunteerism, if they paid their bills for 10 years on their student debt, all the rest is forgiven after 10 years. Millions have benefited from that. And we're going to do
There's
a whole
5
lot
people
more.
watching the Rumble, guys. Hit that like. Come on
Thank
now.
you, President Trump.
Hit that like.
And he caused the inflation. He's
Get that
blaming
sub going.
inflation.
Come on.
And he's right. It's been very bad. He caused the inflation, and it's killing Black families and Hispanic families and
Yep.
just about everybody.
Everybody.
It's killing people. They can't buy groceries anymore. They can't.
Yes, sir.
You look at the cost of food where it's
Yep.
doubled, and
Yep.
tripled, and quadrupled.
Correct.
They can't live. They're not living anymore. He caused this inflation. I gave him a country with essentially no inflation. It was perfect. It was so good. All he had to do
you
was
see
leave
that?
it alone. He destroyed it with his
think he's trying
Green
to
New
fall asleep.
Scam and all of the other,
The
all
Green
this
New
money
Scam,
that's
damn
been
right.
thrown out the window. He caused inflation. As sure as you're sitting there, the fact is that his big kill on the Black people is the millions of people that he's allowed to come in through the border. They're taking Black jobs now, and it could be 18, it could be 19, and even 20 million people. They're taking Black jobs, and they're taking Hispanic jobs, and you haven't seen it yet, but you're going to see something that's going to be the worst in our history.
Thank you. President Biden?
There was no inflation when I became president. You know why? The economy was flat on its back, 15% unemployment. He
Because of
decimated the
COVID. Because of
economy,
COVID.
absolutely decimated the economy.
Fuck out of here,
That's
Biden.
why there was no
COVID.
inflation at the time. There were
Come
no
on.
jobs. We provided thousands of millions of jobs for individuals who are in all communities, including minority communities. We made sure that they have health insurance. We have covered, if the ACA has increased, I made sure that they're $8,000 per person in a family to get written off for health care. But this guy wants to eliminate that. They tried
Where?
to. He wants to
I didn't get that.
What the?
They're gonna
Yeah.
try again if they win. We find
Yo.
ourselves in a position where
Come
the
on. Feed
idea
me.
that
Come on,
we're
let's
not
go.
doing any, I put more.
Idiot.
Put more.
Someone
police
made a
on-
bunny.
Exactly. Exactly,
He
right?
wants to cut the cops.
Hold on. I think I just
Providing
shit my
for
pants from that
equity.
bullshit.
Equity and shot to make it. There's a lot going on, but in inflation, he caused it by his
You can see the green stench coming behind him.
Right.
reasons and ways of the pandemic.
Thank you. Another persistent challenge is the climate crisis. 2023 was the hottest year in recorded history, and communities across the country are confronting the devastating effects of extreme heat, intensifying wildfires, stronger hurricanes, and rising sea levels.
You can't control
Former
nature.
President Trump, you've vowed to end your opponent's
Nature.
climate
Come on
initiatives,
now.
but will you take any action as president to slow the climate crisis?
You
Let me
can't.
just go back to what he said about the police, how close the police are to him. Almost every police group in the nation from every state is supporting Donald J. Trump. Almost every police
Yeah.
group.
You know what happened in
And
New
what
York?
he's done to the Black population
When that
is
police
horrible,
officer
including
died,
the fact that for
Trump
10
went
years
to
he
the
called them
funeral
super
while Biden
predators.
was
We can't, in the 1990s,
with
we can't
Obama's
forget that.
doing
Super
some
predators
elbow
was his
room,
name. And he
rubbing
called it
elbows
to 'em,
together.
and they've taken great offense at it. And now
Get the
they
heck
see it
out of here,
happening.
Biden.
But when they see what I did for criminal justice reform and for the historically Black colleges and universities,
Yes.
where I funded them and got them all funded, and the opportunity zones with Tim, as you know, Tim Scott was incredible. He did a great job. Great senator from South Carolina. He came to me with the idea, and it was a great idea. It's one of the most successful economic development acts ever in the country, opportunity zones. And the biggest beneficiary are Blacks. And that's why we have the best numbers with them in maybe ever. They're saying ever. I read this morning where ever, the best numbers. He's lost much of the Black population because he's done a horrible job for Black people. He's also done a horrible job for Hispanics. But wait till you see these millions of people pouring into our country, and they're going to take the jobs, and it's already started, and you haven't seen anything yet. It's a disaster.
You 38 seconds.
There's a
left.
Black Lives Matter group from California said exactly what Trump just said.
Yep.
Oh wow.
In agreement to Trump. In agreement to Trump.
They're mad. They're pissed
Yeah.
that they have been buying this lie from the Democratic Party for
We had
50
H2O.
years.
We had the best numbers ever, and we were using all forms of energy, all forms, everything. And yet, during my 4 years, I had the best environmental numbers ever. And my top environmental people gave me that statistic just before I walked on the stage, actually.
I don't know where the hell he's been. The idea.
Of course you don't. You don't even know where you are right now.
Most extensive climate change legislation in history. We find ourselves, and by the way, black colleges. I came up with $15 billion for HBCUs.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I gotta be honest with you. Does anybody in here, do y'all truly care about this whole climate shit? I don't.
No.
I don't care about it.
No.
I don't care. I don't care. You know what? Let's give this one to Biden. He can have this one.
Yeah.
I don't care about the climate at all.
They can cry about climate change all they want. Meanwhile, they're backfilling wetlands and cutting down all the trees to build shitty track homes. So
Yeah, they've been saying this shit since my mom was born. You know what I mean?
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, since Al Gore.
Yeah.
The next essential threat to humanity is climate change.
It's all about fear mongering. Fear monger.
The world goes through climate change like all the time. It ain't nothing new.
It's a natural process.
It is.
They didn't have gas-powered cars back during the Ice Age.
Because I didn't want to waste that money.
Exactly.
Because they treat us horribly. We were the only ones.
If you want to do
nobody
climate
else was
change,
paying
tell
into it.
China to stop making
disaster.
shit.
But
Then
everything
that'll
they
reduce
did,
your
just-
climate
And
change.
stop mining for the cobalt that makes batteries for these electric vehicles.
What he's doing is
Correct.
destroying all of our medical programs because the migrants coming in, they want everybody. And look, I have the biggest heart on the stage, I guarantee you that. And I want to take care of people. But we're destroying our country. They're taking over our schools, our hospitals, and they're going to be taking over Social Security. He is destroying Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid.
Hey guys, think about it real quick.
The idea is that
What are your
we,
thoughts
in
on the
fact,
Great Replacement?
We were the only
Is it
ones of
a racist
consequence.
thing, or
We're
is
not.
it
We're not
like
members of
with all these
how can we do anything if
illegal
we're not
immigrants
able to?
coming
The
over
United
the
States
border?
can't get us under control.
Are
One
you
of the
think
largest
that
polluters
are
in
you
the
think they're
world,
trying to
number
replace the
one.
American
We're
people?
making significant progress.
Yeah, and
By
it's not
2035,
all.
we
It's
will
not
have
all. It's
officially
not all people coming
we've
from
made
South
we've
America.
made significant
Correct.
progress.
Yeah.
And we're continuing to make
So
progress.
yes, I have an issue with it
Core.
because they're not
So
just coming.
thousands of young
They're not
people
just
are
sweet,
learning how to
poor
do
farmer
just like
immigrant
history.
families.
We're gonna-
Right.
It's
we're
I
men.
think I actually think there's more of a sinister, behind this whole thing we're seeing.
that
Oh,
To be honest with you,
absolutely.
I think there's more
Absolutely.
sinister behind it. I think because if you think about it, all the videos I've ever seen, it's all about military age men.
Yep,
to
all men.
prescription drugs.
You know,
I've yet to see one family.
They reduced the price to
Yeah.
$35, which I was
It's either grown men smuggling in young women, which we already know,
world, every
Right.
pharmaceutical
or
program.
it's middle. It's men that are military age.
Right.
So every day,
And they're
millions
coming from
of people
countries like Syria,
and they need for
Iraq,
many
Iran,
organs,
and they know that we
Social
have a weak
Security
border, so
provides
they fly into
lifeline.
Mexico and cross the
President
border.
Biden, if nothing is done
Yep.
to Social Security,
Yep.
seniors will see their benefits cut in just over 10 years. Will you name tonight one specific step that you're willing to take to keep Social Security solvent?
Yes, make the very wealthy begin to pay their fair share. Right
Come
now,
on.
everybody
Including you and
Who?
your friends,
$3,000
including you and your
6%
friends, Biden.
of their income, of
Exactly.
their paycheck, every single time they get a paycheck from the time the first one they get when they're 18 years old. The idea that they're gonna, I'm proposing that everybody, they pay, the millionaires pay 1%. So no one I would not raise the cost of Social Security for anybody under $400,000. After that, I began to make the wealthy begin to pay their fair share by increasing from 1% beyond to be able to guarantee the program for life.
So you still
I
have
got a different take when it comes to the wealthy. When's the last time you got paid from a poor man?
Was that one enough?
Right.
Nope.
That one enough.
You know?
My theory is that it's not that we can't feed the poor, is that we can't fulfill the wealthy. We can never make them happy enough.
Right.
Yeah.
We're constantly going to want more and more and more.
Yeah.
The House Republican caucus that he's.
What I'm saying is that only the wealthy, or like the business owners and shit, those are the ones that pay our bills, essentially. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and if you sit there and I lived through it firsthand, back when Obamacare kicked in, the boss that I was working for actually let a lot of people go so he could fall under that bracket to where he didn't have to carry it.
Yep.
It gave us Aflac. It gave us Aflac.
By the way, the other thing is.
Yeah, I lost my coverage because I worked a state job and I have a special needs daughter, and I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford the $10,000 deductible and the outrageous monthly payments. I couldn't do it. So
I was paying, what was it? It was $65 a month for insurance for me and my wife. Okay, through my company. But then when Obama kicked in, I lost that insurance, and then they quoted me $500 a month just for me to get insurance.
Yep. Mine was going up to about $1,200 a month, and then a $10,000 deductible before they'd even pay 60/40.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I think my total bill that they're taking out of my checks monthly was about $300 for me, my wife, and 3 kids. It was about $300 total, but I think it was like $330 actually. $330 is what I was paying in, and then when 2010 kicked in and Obamacare kicked in, I lost it. I completely lost it, and it was just $500 alone just for me to have insurance.
It was not. It was nothing like they touted it to be. Oh, everybody's no. And then they penalized people at the end of the year who couldn't afford it.
It's really
what was the point of that?
Yeah. Anger in our country before.
I still laugh at it. I got a letter somewhere where I got from the marketplace saying, sorry, what is it? It says something like, sorry to inform you, but you cannot afford the affordable health care.
Yeah, exactly.
Bruh.
I'm grateful for TRICARE. I mean, that's all I can say is thank God for TRICARE.
That we're going to be in a situation where all the
That's what my mom and dad has TRICARE for life.
Yeah. Yep. And it'll cover my daughter for years to come. So all I care about.
Good deal.
I think it covers it until they're up to like 27 if they're going to college, I think.
Exactly. Oh yeah. And she's going to school to be an engineer. So
This is the fastest economy growing, guys, according to Biden just now.
oh, he's been saying that.
Yeah.
But I do love the fact that people are posting, their Instacart and Walmart shopping receipts, and then they just hit reorder from what they did 2 or 3 years ago.
President Biden, thank
And
you
it's
so much.
showing in real time
Which many Americans
something that cost $150 2 or 3 years ago is now costing $450.
Yep.
The average cost
You
of child
can't
care
debate
is
that.
more than
Nope.
$11,000 a year per child. For many families, the cost of child care for 2 children is more than their rent. In your second term, what would you do?
I just said this about it when I was under Bush. That happened to me under Bush.
The general got fired because he was no good. And if he said that, that's why he made it up. But we have 19 people that said I didn't say it, and they're very highly respected, much more so
Hit
than
that
him.
follow button, guys.
The
Hit
other
that
thing
share
is,
button.
He doesn't fire
Give it a
people.
like. Get the podcast a
He never
like.
fired people. I've never seen him fire anybody. I did fire a lot. I fired Comey because he was no good. I fired a lot of the top people at the FBI, drained the swamp. They were no good. Not easy to fire people. You'd pay a price
You
for
always
it,
look so
but they were no good.
confused.
I inherited these people. I didn't put him there. I didn't put Comey there. He was no good. I fired him. This guy hasn't fired anybody. He never fires. He should have fired every military man that was involved with the Afghanistan.
Oh, absolutely.
Horror show, the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. He didn't fire. Did you fire anybody? Did you fire anybody that's on the border that's allowed us to have the worst border in the history of the world? Did anybody get fired for allowing 18 million people, many from prisons, many from mental institutions? Did you fire anybody that allowed our country to be destroyed? Joe, our country is being destroyed as you and I sit up here and waste a lot of time on this debate. This
Thank you,
shouldn't be a
Tom.
debate. He is the worst president. He just said about me because I said it.
Even
Look,
Jimmy
he's the
Carter's
worst president
better
in the
than
history of our
Biden
country. He's
right now.
destroyed our country. Now all of a sudden
Yeah.
he's trying to get a little the border. He came out with a nothing deal, and it reduced it a little bit, like this much. It's insignificant. He wants open borders. He wants our
Zelensky from Ukraine is better than Biden is.
And he was an actor.
I don't think.
Yeah, exactly.
At least he's making money for his country. At least he's making money for. At least he's making money for his country.
That
coming out of this,
even if he has to beg for it.
Don't have a country left anymore. That's how
I
bad
promise
it is.
we'll
He's
pay
the
you
worst
back.
in history by far.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden?
We are the most admired country in the world. We're the
Not
United
anymore,
States of
sadly.
America. There's nothing beyond our capacity. We have the finest military in the history of the world. The
No, we
finest in the
don't.
history of the world.
I'm sorry.
No one
Not
thinks we're
anymore.
good. No one
No.
wants to screw around with
Oh,
us.
Biden, I agree with you, but it's not the way it is right now
Idea.
because of you.
Talking about worst president.
Yeah,
I wasn't joking. Look it up or go online.
having this woke shit going on in the
159
military.
or
Come on
58,
now.
don't hold me
And these
exactly.
guys got
Exactly. When you've got trans people doing
We had
videos
meetings
for the
and they voted.
military,
He's the worst
Yeah.
president in American history. One through best
doing
to
their
worst.
lip gloss while
He was
they're
the worst
walking the
of American
aircraft
history.
carrier.
That's a fact. That's
Yeah.
not conjecture. He can argue they're wrong, but that's what they voted. The idea that he is
So
willing
I don't know if I heard him correctly because of us talking, but I think he just said that they polled 159 people and they all said that Trump was the worst president in history. What about the 80 million people that y'all polled? Says otherwise.
The whole to have
Thank you, President
childcare
Biden.
facilities.
President Trump, the question was about what would you do to make childcare more affordable, if you want to take your minute.
Just so you understand, we have polling, we have other things that they rate him the worst because what he's done is so bad. And they rate me, I'll show you, I will show you. And they rate me one of the best, okay? And if I'm given another 4 years, I will be the best. I think I'll be the best. Nobody's ever created an economy like us. Nobody ever cut taxes like us.
Yep.
He's the only one I know. He wants to raise your taxes by 4 times. He wants to raise everybody's taxes by 4 times. He wants the Trump tax cuts to expire. So everybody, including
What is wrong with Biden's face?
nobody ever heard of this before.
Yo,
And I see politicians.
the hell was that?
When we cut taxes, as I said,
drugs
we
is
did
kicking in.
taxes. Apple and all these companies, they were.
Oh, he just went, oh, I feel good now.
Yeah, it's bad. He's like, he pressed that button. He's like, shit.
President Biden?
Look, the fact of the matter is that he's dead wrong about. He's increased the tariff. He will increase the taxes on middle class people. I
No,
said
he
I'd
won't.
never raise the
Come
tax
on
on
now.
anybody
Give me a
less than
freaking break.
$1,000. I did.
Well, unemployment,
These
correct me
tariffs,
if I'm wrong, was
10%
still at
tariffs.
7%.
Everything coming in the
It
country,
was the
Or
lowest
maybe
it's
lower.
ever been.
that's going to cost the average American $2,500.
Oh, the cane is kicking in. Look at his eyes now. Like,
And all the things that we
Yeah, Hunter, like, I
He's
got you,
like-
pops.
He's in a situation where
He owned
talks
it, Justin
about how
Timberlake.
he has not
Yeah.
raised
Oh, man.
somehow help the middle class. Middle class have been devastated by you. Now you want a new
Come on.
tax.
What?
We were not. We were not.
Which is going to fundamentally bankrupt the country. You had the largest deficit of any president in American history.
Get
Number
the-
one. Number two, you have not, in fact, made any contact, any progress with China. We are the lowest
All right.
trade deficit
Yeah,
with China
really?
since
Yeah, whatever, dude.
2010.
Thank you,
We were at the
President
highest.
Biden.
You lost
Thank you, President
$160.
Biden. Let's discuss an
Sure.
epidemic impacting millions of Americans that both of you have made a top priority in your first term, the opioid crisis. And for both of you, the number of overdose deaths in this country has gone up. Under your term, it went up.
fentanyl.
Under your term, it has gone
Coming
up.
across the border.
And former President Trump, despite the
Because of
efforts that
who?
both of you have
China.
made, more than 100,000 Americans are dying from overdoses every year,
China
primarily
is
from
doing the
fentanyl and other
fentanyl
opioids.
shit.
What will you do to help Americans right now in the throes of addiction who are struggling to get the treatment they need?
To finish up, we now have the largest deficit in the history of our country under this guy. We have the largest deficit with China. He gets paid by China. He's a Manchurian candidate. He gets money from China.
He's a
We have-
Manchurian
I think it's
candidate.
okay to deal with him, something. But do you notice he never took out my tariffs because we bring in so much money with the tariffs that I imposed on China. He never took them away. He can't because it's too much money. It's
Back.
tremendous. And we saved our steel industries, and there was more to come, but he hasn't done that. But he hasn't cut the tariffs because he can't, because it's too much money. But he's got the largest deficit in the history of our country, and he's got the worst the worst situation with China. China's going to own us if you keep allowing them to do what they're doing to
I'm
us
sorry,
as
I
a
think
country.
they already
They
do,
are
to be
killing
honest
us
with
as a country,
Yeah.
Joe, and you can't let that happen. You're destroying
They
our
own
country.
they own so much of our
President
farmland.
Trump, you have 67
Mhm.
seconds left. The question was, what are you going to do to help Americans in the throes of addiction right now who are struggling to get the treatment they need?
Jake, we were doing very well at addiction until the COVID came along. We had the 2.5, almost 3 years of like nobody's ever had before, any country in every way. And then we had to get tough. And it was the drugs pouring across the border were, it started to increase. We got great equipment. We bought the certain dog that's the most incredible thing that you've ever seen, the way they can spot it. We did a lot. And we were getting very low numbers, very, very low numbers. Then he came along. The numbers, have you seen the numbers now? It's not only the 18 million people that I believe is even low because the gotaways, they don't even talk about gotaways, but the numbers of the amount of drugs and human trafficking in women coming across our border, the worst thing I've ever seen at numbers that nobody's ever seen under him because the border's so bad. But the number of drugs coming across our border now is the largest we've ever had by far.
President Trump, thank you. President Biden?
Fentanyl and the byproducts of fentanyl went down for a while. And I wanted to make sure we use the machinery that can detect fentanyl, these big machines that roll over everything that comes across the border. And it costs a lot of money. That was part of this deal we put together.
Big machines. Roll them.
Machines, more be able to detect drugs, more numbers of agents, more numbers of all the people at the border. And when we had that deal done, he called his Republican
That man,
colleagues.
oh, there he went and blinked. I was like, he didn't blink yet.
No, he never argued it's not a good bill. It's a really good bill. We need those machines. We need those machines. And we're coming down very hard in every country in Asia in terms of precursors for fentanyl. And Mexico is working with us to make sure they don't have the technology to be able to put it together. That's what we have to do. We need those machines.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump, and again, the question is about Americans in the throes of addiction right now struggling to get the treatment they need.
Well, this does pertain to it. He ended remain in Mexico. He ended catch and release. I made a catch and release in Mexico, not catch and release here. We had so many things that we had done, hard negotiations with Mexico, and I got it all for nothing. It's just like when you have a hostage, we always pay $6 billion for a hostage. Every time we say it's a hostage. Now we have a hostage, a Wall Street Journal reporter, I think a good guy, and he's over there because Putin is laughing at this guy, probably asking for billions of dollars for the reporter. I will have him out very quickly.
Who's like,
as soon
I
as
don't
I
need
take
your
office.
money.
Before I take office, I said,
I got rubles.
by literally, as soon as I win the election, I will have that reporter out. He should have had him out a long time ago, but Putin's probably asking for billions and billions of dollars because this guy pays it every time. We had 2 cases where we paid $6 billion for 5 people. I got 58 people out, and I paid essentially nothing.
Thank you, President Trump. Dana?
Let's turn to concerns that voters have about each of you. President Biden, you would be 86 at the end of your second term. How do you address concerns about your capability to handle the toughest job in the world well into your 80s?
Well, first of all, I spent half my career being criticized being the youngest person in politics. I was the second youngest person ever elected to the United States Senate, and now I'm the oldest. This guy's 3 years younger and a lot less competent. I think that this look at the record. Look at what I've done.
Guys,
a lot less competent.
Democrats need projection.
As I said, 15 million new jobs, 800,000 manufacturing jobs, more investment in America, over billions of dollars in private investment in enterprises that we are growing. By the way, we brought off a lot of people. The whole idea of computer chips, we used to have 40% of the market. We invented those chips, and we lost it.
The hell's that got to do with you being in your 80s running the country?
Product. So I went to
maybe
South Korea.
maybe he's saying that he's AI
billions of dollars
without saying he's AI.
States. And
I don't
Good
know.
point.
He hasn't blinked much, which is, you know.
To build these chips. Those
you're
fabs
right.
pay over $100,000.
Well, with his skin
Who
pulled
cares
back,
about chips?
Billions.
Yeah.
Throw some sauce on it. I don't care what you do with them. I want to know how you're going to continue to run this country being the dimension show that you are.
Yeah.
Deflection. Yeah.
President Biden, you have 40 seconds left. Would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I would. The idea that somehow we are this failing country. I never heard a president talk like this before.
We are a failing country.
Name me
Yeah, we
a
are.
single
Yeah, you're right.
major country president who wouldn't trade places with the United States of America for all our problems and all our opportunities. We're the most progressive country in the world in getting things done. We're the
Progressive
strongest
is
country
right.
in the
He
world.
is right about
Yeah,
that.
you used the
Progressive
right
country.
word there. Progressive, yes, sir.
Everybody trusts us.
Yeah.
All of our allies and our those who he coddles up to, from Kim Jong Un, he sends love letters to, and Putin, etc. They don't want us to rule.
Thank you. Former President Trump, to follow up, you would be 82 at the end of your second term.
Dude,
What
bro.
do you say to voters who have concerns about your capabilities to serve?
Well, I took 2 tests, cognitive tests. I aced them, both of them, as you know. We made it public. He took none. I'd like to see him take one, just one, a real easy one. Like go through the first 5 questions. He couldn't do it. But I took 2 cognitive tests. I took physical exams every
I
year.
love this dude, bro. Bring
And,
it back, bro. Bring it back.
Wood wherever we may have wood.
Bring this dude
Joe's
back.
over here laughing, but he hasn't taken one yet. You know, like
Senior, 2 regular club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart, and you have to be able to hit the ball a long way. And I do it. He doesn't do it. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. I think I'm in very good shape. I feel that I'm as in good a shape as I was 25, 30 years ago. Actually, I'm probably a little bit lighter, but I'm in as good a shape as I was years ago. I feel very good. I feel the same. But I was willing to take a cognitive test. And you know what? If I didn't do well, I aced them.
Do it,
Dr.
Stevie.
Ronnie Jackson, who's
Play him, play him, play
a
him.
great guy when he was White House doctor. And then I took another one, a similar one. And one of them said they've never seen anybody ace them.
Thank you. President Biden?
You can see he is 6'5" and only 223 pounds, or 235 pounds. Well, you said 6'4", 200. Well, anyway, that's it. Anyway, just take a look at what
he's 6'3", and he's 6'2".
I don't know what height he is. I mean, I know I believe he is 6 foot, but I don't know if he's 6 something. You know, let's look that up.
I think they said that Trump is 6'2", 6'3".
Because Barron Trump's like 6'7". Gets tall.
He tall.
That kid is tall, man. That kid is
6
tall.
handicap of all.
I was an 8 handicap.
The CNN deal is handicapped. What the fuck?
I've seen you swing. I know you swing.
I hate to say it though. You see, we got these 2 old guys talking about golf. So they're arguing about golf.
You pledge tonight that once all legal challenges have been exhausted, that you will accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins. And you will say right now that political violence in any form is unacceptable.
Well, I shouldn't have to say that, but of course I believe that. It's totally unacceptable. And if you would see my statements that I made on Twitter at the time, and also my statement that I made in the Rose Garden, you would say it's one of the strongest statements you've ever seen. In addition to the speech I made in front of, I believe, the largest crowd I've ever spoken to. And I will tell you, nobody ever talks about that. They talk about a relatively small number of people that went to the Capitol, and in many cases were ushered in by the police. And as Nancy Pelosi said, it was her responsibility, not mine. She said that loud and clear. But the answer is, if the election is fair, free, and I want that more than anybody. And I'll tell you something. I wish he was a great president, because I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be at one of my many places enjoying myself. I wouldn't
He's
be
a
under
billionaire,
indictment
guys.
because I wouldn't have been his
He's a
political
billionaire.
opponent,
He could be
opponent.
doing what he's
Because he
saying he's doing
indicted
right now.
me.
Yeah, he could be enjoying his life, and he did not have to do
He's a
this.
great president. I would
Right.
rather have that. I wouldn't be here. I don't mind being here. But the only reason I'm here is he's so bad as a president that I'm going to make America great again. We're going to make America great again. We're a failing nation right now. We're a seriously failing nation. And we're a failing nation because of him. His policies are so bad. His military policies are insane. They're insane. These are wars that will never end with him. He will drive us into World War III, and we're closer to World War III than anybody can imagine.
Absolutely.
We are
On the
very, very
precipice.
close to World War III, and he's driving us there. And Kim Jong-un and President Xi of China, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, all of these, Putin, they don't respect him. They don't fear him. They have nothing going with this gentleman, and he's going to drive us into World War III.
Yeah.
You want a World War III? Let him follow and win and let Putin say, do what you want, NATO. Just do what you want. There's a thing called Article 5. An attack on one is attack on all, a required response. The idea, I can't think of a single major leader in the world who wouldn't trade places with the job I've done, what they've done. Because we are a powerful nation. We have wonderful people. It's because of the people, not me. It's because of the American people. They're capable of anything, and they step up when they're needed. And right now, we're needed. We're needed to
Yeah,
protect
but
the
you
world
threaten
because
us
of
with
our own safety as a state.
F-15.
And
Oh,
I
you
think
need more than
yeah.
F-15. Yeah.
just let Putin go
Yeah.
ahead and take.
Oh, you're not going to do anything with your AR-15 because you're going to need an
Yeah.
F-15.
Other places
What
around
president,
the
like,
then you have a war.
President Trump, as I come back to you for a follow-up, the question was, will you accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins?
Just to finish what he said, if I might, Russia.
He didn't ask
took a lot
that.
of land from Bush. They took a lot of land from Obama and Biden.
Yes.
They took
that's
no
facts.
land, nothing
Correct.
from Trump. Nothing. He
Yep.
knew not to do it. He's not going to play games with me. He knew that. I got along with him very well, but he knew not to play games. He took nothing from me. But now he's going to take the whole thing from this man right here. That's a war that should have never started. It would have never started ever with me. And he's going to take Ukraine. And, you know, you asked me a question before, would you do this? He's got us in such a bad position right now with Ukraine and Russia. Because Ukraine's not
Get
winning
the
that
camera off
war.
him. Get the camera
He
off.
said, I will never settle until such time. They're running out of people. They're running out of soldiers. They've lost so many people. It's so sad. They've lost so many people, and they've lost those gorgeous cities with the golden domes that are 1,000 years old, all because of him and stupid decisions. Russia would have never attacked if I were
President Trump,
president.
the question was, will you accept the results of the election, regardless of who wins, yes or no?
Wait.
If it's a fair and legal and
He
good
answered that the
election,
first time.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I would have much rather accepted
But
these.
Biden went off on a
the
fucking
fraud
tangent
and
somewhere. I
everything
don't know
else
where.
was ridiculous. And if you
but
want,
he
we'll
was the
have a
one to
news
do that.
conference on it in a week, or we'll have another one of these in a week. But I will absolutely. There's nothing I'd rather do. It would be much easier for me to do that than I'm running again. I wasn't really going to run until I saw the horrible job he did. He's destroying our country. I would be very happy to be someplace else in a nice location someplace. And again, no indictments, no political opponent stuff, because it's the only way he thinks he can win. But unfortunately, it's driven up my numbers and driven them up to a very high level because the people
they raised
understand.
$53 million.
What your numbers are when this election is over.
Yep.
Let's see. You're a whiner. When you lost the first time, you continued, you appealed and appealed to courts all across the country. Not one single court in
Oh,
America
here we go. He's going
said
to
any
yell
of
it.
your claims had any merit, state or local, none. But you continue to provoke this lie about somehow there's all this misrepresentation, all this stealing. There is no evidence of that at all.
Oh,
And I
there's
tell you what,
evidence. Yes,
I doubt
there
you'll
is.
accept it because
The side view. The side view of Biden looks like Beavis and Butthead from Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, exactly.
You wonder what actor's playing him right now.
Right.
Yeah.
From the CNN presidential debate, live from Georgia.
Man, this is wild, man. All these easy questions to Biden, and here they go. They're attacking Trump again. You know.
I bet he had like pre-written questions that only he would allow to answer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
That's what they did. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, and I knew he was going to bring up the conviction. I thought he'd say it more than once, but
I'm shocked. You know.
yeah, I was counting on at least 10 times.
Yeah. And there's times that you saw that he was going to say it, but he didn't, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Who do you think he's got an earpiece in? I think he does.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Those earpieces
I think
are like so hidden. Like, you know.
Yeah, they're so tiny.
I think he's got a prompt or something.
Yeah.
No, he wouldn't have a prompt because he would have said pause. Period.
Yeah.
He's got to be so. He's got to have an earpiece. And I think he's got it on the opposite end where Trump don't see it, so Trump don't call him out on it. You know.
Yeah. Well, it says here. It says here on CBS is those remember Trump's economy as being better than Biden's. Here's what the data shows, and that's the CBS News, guys. This is the reason why I showed it, because I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Push that forward and ask, well, whose policies
nationwide. That is Trump's largest general election lead yet in our surveys this cycle. Joining us now is our Executive
I think it's
Director of
more than that. I don't
Elections
think
and
it's
Surveys,
48%. That's
Anthony
why I don't trust
Salvanto.
polls.
Anthony, good to have you here.
Yeah.
Good morning.
So our polling has shown perceptions of the economy have been improving. So why isn't that helping Joe Biden?
Because it's the comparison that people are making between how they rate the economy today and what they remember it being during the Trump years. And it's the remembering that's the key word there. I specifically asked, how do you remember
March
it?
6th,
And 2/3 of
2024,
voters
guys.
say they remember it being good, which is also interesting because if you go back and look at the polling from that time, people did in fact rate it good in 2018, 2019, but then views of the economy cratered after the pandemic and the shutdowns. And it doesn't seem like they're remembering that part of it here, but that's the reality today. So it's that comparison that isn't holding up for the White House, number one. And then number two, you push that forward and ask, well, whose policies might make prices go down? And there's a lot of Republicans who think that prices will go down if Donald Trump gets elected. But what's troubling for Joe Biden is that you still get him associated with price increases, because a lot of people think the prices would continue to go up under his policies. That's why.
Memory is an interesting thing, isn't
Indeed.
it? Anthony, the campaign is leaning heavily into issues of democracy, access to voting, even calling Donald Trump a threat to democracy itself. Why isn't that helping the Biden campaign?
We're not a
Well,
democracy.
that's in the electorate's mind.
Yep. Every time I hear
Here.
democracy, I'm
We
go ahead, Steve. I'm
oh
sorry.
Yeah, no, we're not on a democracy. We're a constitutional republic, and it drives me insane when these idiots get up here and are like, "Oh, democracy's at stake." Yeah, well, that's great because we're not a democratic country.
exactly.
Yeah,
Oh,
every-
I always just tell me, damn straight we are a threat to your democracy.
Yeah.
exactly.
So what they
It-
don't realize is a constitutional republic is the power of the people, right? The people
Yep.
make the decision. And a democracy, it's the popular vote. So you're looking at, when you have a city as large as New York making this decision for a whole country, that is a democratic, vote. And that's why that is why our founding fathers set this up as a constitutional republic, because it was supposed to be for the people, by the people.
Yep, and yeah, exactly. It's mob rule, a democracy. And
Yep.
every time I hear a politician say democracy, I'm in a nutshell. I'm hearing them pleading, please save us.
Yeah.
Please save
I don't know
our jobs.
if you've seen the video of celebrities have put out about saving our democracy, and there's some in there that I'm like really disappointed in, but at this point I just realize it's all celebrities and they're all human, and I don't idolize anyone but God. But this most recent one, and I know who I'm talking about, it really bothered me because I thought he surely would stay out of it, but of course he just did the Biden rally here like a week or two ago, and he was like, "Oh, democracy's at stake," and I'm like, "Aren't you Jewish?" like you guys are getting hounded more than any other group right now, and you're gonna stand up there and vote for Biden, and then Taylor Swift is gonna get up on stage and talk about fuck the patriarchy. Ma'am, you are supporting a geriatric man to be president. So don't talk about fuck the patriarchy when you're out here supporting Biden for president.
Yeah.
Have a seat. It's all for show.
Yeah.
Because
Sorry.
he left
You're good.
after
You're
the
good.
way he handled the pandemic.
Taylor Swift wouldn't be nobody if it wasn't for her daddy.
Now wants to
yeah.
tax more by putting a 10% tariff on everything that comes into the United States of America.
Are they making a final
For
debate?
example,
Final
they
thing?
used to get rid of the ability of Medicare for us to be able to negotiate.
Oh, he's malfunctioning. He needs to get recharged.
Hunter, press that button.
Hurry up with the wireless charger. Stick it in. He's about to shut down.
Obama.
Hey, give him an extra bump. He needs an extra bump.
Give it that Parmesan. Yeah, the Parmesan cheese.
Hunter, you're failing. Hunter, you're failing.
Get some of that cheese off the floor.
Exactly.
all along what's happening now, and everybody in America. He wants to get rid of that. I'm going to make sure that we have child care. We're going to significantly increase the credits people have for child care. I'm going to make sure we do something about what we're doing on lead pipes and all the things that are causing health problems for people across the country. We're going to continue to fight to bring down inflation and give people a break.
You're causing me health problems right now. Okay, so what are we going to do about that?
I think my eye is twitching.
This man is just a complainer.
Cheers.
He said, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to get rid of this tax, that tax. But he doesn't do anything. He doesn't do, all he does is make our country unsafe by allowing millions and millions of people to pour in. Our military doesn't respect him. We look like fools in Afghanistan. We didn't stop Israel. It was such a horrible thing that would have never happened. It should have never happened. Iran was broke. Anybody that did business with Iran, including China, they couldn't do business with the United States. They all passed. Iran was broke. They had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah, for terror, no money whatsoever. Again, Ukraine should have never happened. He talks about all this stuff, but he didn't do it. For 3.5 years, we're living in hell.
Yeah.
We have the Palestinians and we have everybody else rioting all over the place.
Yeah.
You talk about Charlottesville. This is 100 times Charlottesville, 1,000 times. The whole country is exploding because of you, because they don't respect you, and they have to respect their president, and they don't respect you throughout the world. What we did was incredible. We rebuilt the military. We got the largest tax cut in history, the largest regulation cut in history. The reason he's got jobs is because I cut the regulations that gave jobs, but he's putting a lot of those regulations back on. All of the things we've done, nobody's never seen anything like, even from a medical standpoint, right to try, where we can try space age materials instead of going to Asia or going to Europe and trying to get, when you're terminally ill, now you can go and you can get something. You sign a document. They've been trying to get it for 42 years. But you know what we did for the military was incredible. Choice for our soldiers, where our soldiers, instead of waiting for 3 months to see a doctor, can go out and get themselves fixed up and readied up and take care of themselves, and they're living. And that's why I had the highest approval rating in the history of the VA. So all of these things, we're in a failing nation, but it's not going to be failing anymore. We're going to make it great again.
Thank you, former President Biden. Stay with us because we have full analysis of this debate. Anderson Cooper and Aaron Burnett starts now on CNN.
We're good on that. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm listening to Anderson Cooper. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah. They don't.
Yeah, that was a nothing. That was definitely a nothing burger.
Exactly. Yeah.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. May I take your order?
That was the weakest presidential debate I've ever watched.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Big time. Wow.
Yeah, so
wow.
Yep. Trump brought the
But I gotta say though, it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. It wasn't as horrible I thought it would have been.
I thought they really were going to push the favor to Biden a lot more than they did. They did give him softer questions.
And I thought that they was going to bring up the convictions a lot more than they did too.
Yeah, I was really expecting that.
Yeah. So I got to give them credit where credit's due, honestly. You know, but yeah, they definitely did give Biden the softer questions, and they did try to I guess catch Trump slipping in a sense, but he didn't. He held his own pretty well, I thought.
Yeah,
yes,
sure.
he does. Yeah, yes, he does. Yeah,
yeah. They said here that Newsweek. Hold on, real quick. That brought Trump's height. I know this is like the. But they said that that he's 6'2" and 240 pounds. That's in back in April 2023.
Yeah.
But then Washington Post states that he's 5'11" and 230 pounds. So I really think he's sick. I'm really thinking he is 6 foot.
Yeah.
Trump, yeah.
Yeah, Trump. Yes. Sorry,
Yeah.
Vicky.
Yeah, no, yeah. He's I mean, he's always been on the taller end. All of his kids are. So
Yep.
and Ivanka was, and Melania was, so or is.
Yep.
But yeah.
They definitely ain't short people, that's for sure.
No, not at all.
No.
They're nowhere near my 5'2" self.
Like shit, Baron that's a tall son of a bitch right there. Let me tell you.
God, and
Good
he's
God.
not even, I mean, he's always been tall, but like these last few videos I've seen of him, I'm like, dang.
Yeah, he just yeah. How old is he now? He's what is he 18 already?
Yeah.
He did graduate high school.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hell,
because
he still has some inches to grow then.
yeah, there was a lot of controversy around that because the judge wasn't going to allow him to go to his son's graduation.
Correct. Exactly.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I remember that.
So they basically screwed themselves because they were kind of holding him political prisoner there in New York. So that's why he decided to do that rally in the Bronx, in South Bronx, and it really backfired on them. I don't think they realized how much support he was going to bring in there. And then, of course, they tried to say, oh, he's going to pay all these people to come in. And not a single one of those people were paid to come in. They were all literally residents of the South Bronx. And most of them were lifelong Democrats. And they were all wearing Trump hats. And they're like, we will never vote Democrat again. Never.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because look at what it's got them, 50 years of living in poverty, 50, like all these people who've come in and said they're going to do all these things for their communities. What have they done?
Exactly. Nothing.
You know,
I mean,
go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, no, I like, you know, with the BLM, I think it could have been a great movement had they done it correctly. But it was clearly not about truly wanting to change Black lives or coming into the communities and changing those people's lives, giving them the resources that they needed to come up. You know, they used it to buy houses and cars and all of those things, and they robbed those people. And that's just, it's horrible. It's, you know, and I think we'll see it again here soon, right before November. Something else is going to happen.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
I got something to show y'all real quick. I'm waiting for my son to grab it real quick.
Trump, by the way, guys, they said here on this article he's 6'3", or he's 6'2", 6'3". He can still be 6'3", but it says 6'2" and 215 pounds now.
That's pretty healthy. I mean,
yeah.
So, Stevie, you ready to see it?
Yeah.
All right. I think Josh already seen it. Here you go. Here's my little present to everybody.
Oh yeah, saw on TikTok. Yeah.
There you go.
I can't. Hold on. I can't. Let me see. Hold on. I can't see it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Make Merc. I love that.
It's a cowboy hat that I cut up.
I freaking love that. Oh, it's a cowboy hat. You made it into a hat. That's freaking great. I love that so much.
There you go, man.
And then on the back of it,
oh my god, I freaking love that so much. I would wear the shit out of that hat.
Exactly.
I'm gonna have to get me a Trump hat. I don't have one. So.
You know what I've been trying to get my hands on, and every time I got the money to do it, they're sold out. And when I don't have the money to get it, they got them. It's the original "Make America Great" hat again, the one with the green bottom bill, the original with the real big bold letters that goes, I mean, completely across the hat, and it's got the Trump 2020, and then the flag, and then the Trump 20, on the backside.
I regret not buying one because we went to 2016. And again, I don't know what I'm allowed to say on here, but you just tell me. But I graduated high school with Nancy Mace. Like I grew up with her. I graduated high school with her, you know, and she's won a seat here in South Carolina. And I supported her. Like I bought her book. I donated her campaign because like she's an old classmate. But then I realized that she is definitely a rhino and she's just in it for herself. And that was all proven after January 6th. But she sent a message out to me and my husband and was like, hey, Trump's going to be doing a rally at the USS Yorktown, which is an old, aircraft carrier battleship. And so I was like, yeah, that would be great. So obviously very, very limited space because it's, a battleship, it's aircraft carrier. There's not a lot of space for people. Also, it could be very dangerous because you're on a ship. So we went, and I went as a skeptic because I was like, I think, I don't know who it was, you or the other guy that was on here who was like, I didn't like him from TV, right? Because he was obnoxious. So I wanted to go and see what he was really all about. Because at that time, every single rally he had done, they were portraying it on the news as like, oh, he's got all these white supremacists and they're like kicking all these people out and it's like violent, blah. So I was like, I want to go see for myself. So of course, at this point, he'd already won the nomination for the GOP party, and so he already had Secret Service and all of that. So we get to the ship, and the crowd there was crazy. And you have to understand, this is a ship that's like sitting out in the harbor in Charleston. I'd never seen that many people, and they had all. I really wish I'd have bought one of those original hats because they had all the vendors out there, but. So we get on the ship and we were sitting right in front of like the media people. And I cannot think of the guy from CNN that everybody hated so bad. And him and Trump used to always go back and forth. He was sitting right behind us. And long story short, everybody got up and talked and Trump got up. And what really touched us is just being my husband's a disabled veteran. My father-in-law was a disabled veteran, was how much he cared about veterans. Like that was his big deal.
Your husband, I said, thank you for his service.
Thank you very much for your support. We really appreciate that. Thank you. Well, and he really supported veterans. He talked a lot about wanting to fix the VA, which he was really trying hard to. And so we always supported him in that once he got elected. But they literally, what happened is some BLM supporters, protesters had made their way on the ship somehow. So you have to understand, not only was there Secret Service, but there was also officers from every single jurisdiction in this area. So they had like 6 or 7 different jurisdictions there to try to like keep the peace, because we are on an aircraft carrier. So if someone fell off into the water, it could have been very dangerous for anyone. So somehow they had made their way onto the ship and they were causing a lot of, ruckus and it could have been very dangerous. And so Trump was on stage and he's telling the officers, like, please show these people like kindness. Please, like, be gentle with them. They deserve to have their voices heard too. They're Americans just like the rest of us. I just want to make sure that you handle them, with kid gloves as you're removing them from the ship. Like the whole thing, he was like, please be kind to them. Please don't rough them up, blah, blah, blah. And then that night, this is when I realized that Trump wasn't lying and the news was really lying. And then they were, of course, outside the ship harassing all of us and stuff. That night on the news, it was all about how Trump had thrown these people off the ship and he had made racist remarks towards them. And I was like, I was there.
There was
with my own 2 eyes. And so at that point, I knew I wasn't voting for Hillary, just having my husband being in the military at the time that all of that went down in Benghazi and all of those things. I knew she wasn't my candidate. So, but I was still undecided on Trump. Like, am I even going to vote? But that night sealed the deal for me, because once I got on the news and realized how bad they were lying against this man, because I saw it with my own 2 eyes, that was it. Sealed the deal for me.
Hey, I know what you're talking about, because I know exactly what you're talking about, because I seen it on Facebook, and a lot of people were saying that with the media and everything. And then there was a bunch of people that was there that actually had footages of him saying, hey, like you just said, they got their own voices to be heard. So be gentle with them. You know what I mean?
That
and he took it upon.
Was like, please be gentle with them. Don't show them kindness. Their voices have the right to be heard too. But that's not what they said on the news.
Yeah, exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about. I remember that. It was all over Facebook.
Oh, all over. And I remember my husband and I were like, but wait a minute, we were there. That is not what happened. But of course, they don't want to interview us. They don't want to talk to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't fit the narrative. You don't fit the narrative.
Nope, not at
You
all.
know.
Well,
Not at
well,
all.
also too, what I got, what I have to say is that I believe that these interviewers are people who study body language very well. The
Yep.
reason why I say this is because one day when when the Star Wars game came out on PS4, when it first came out, I walked out of Target. I was like, all happy and shit, blah blah blah. And then this anchor, I and then also a person with a camera was like she was like just looking at me. I'm like, who the heck are you? Like you like staring, and I'm like, what the heck? And then she took her microphone, hit it behind her back, and then as I walked past her, because I felt the camera was like on me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then she's like, yeah, no, like kind of like had that look, like nah. So I believe that these news reporters are very good at body language.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, 100%.
I mean that had me convinced from that day because I never came across a news reporter like that before, and I was like, whoa! And then all of a sudden, I was like, yeah.
I wish I could remember the guy's name because he got fired from CNN eventually, but he was like one of their biggest hosts, and him and Trump used to go back and forth all the time, and so they were throwing barbs back and forth that whole time. And like I said, he was.
Is it the guy that has a brother that's also with CNN? Are you talking about that? There's like two brothers that work for them or something.
No, are you talking about Cuomo?
Yeah. Is that? Yeah, that's not who you're referring to.
Yeah. The name is just escaping me right now. I can see his face like clear as day, but him and Trump used to always go back and forth. And so having the whole media like sitting right behind us and, kind of the snide stuff they were throwing at him, and he handles it with such grace. It's just different in person. It really is. And that's what, like I said, that's what sealed the deal for us. And I'm not, some people, they call us maggots and all, and the cult and all that stuff. I don't think that Trump is like the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think he's a good president, and I think that comes from the fact that he has always loved this country. And I mean, if you watch interviews of him 20, 30 years ago, he said the same thing. Right. But he's a businessman, and he's an asshole. And I hope I can say that word here. And assholes get things done.
We're cussing.
Yeah, assholes get things done. Period.
Exactly.
And that's who I want running my country. I don't want some feeble old man who someone's pulling the strings on.
Exactly. And I actually like Trump, from his very first series of The Apprentice. And I'm like, damn, that's a freaking leader. And I was like, wow. Yep. And I could just see, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, when he ran for president, I'm going to tell you people out there, I had my doubts because
I did too. Absolutely.
This is a statement. I was going to vote for Hillary when she was running against Obama because I never believed Obama from the jump. That joker will talk a snake out of its skin.
Yep.
So I was like, then I started doing deep dives about Hillary and that shit like that. I was like, yo, and then it just everything started clicking. And I'm like, well, you know what? I don't want to vote for Hillary, but you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna vote. I'm gonna go ahead and vote for Trump.
Yeah.
Sure enough, he ended up doing. You know what I'm saying? So
this country took the turn for the worst. I really got to say in 2012, and since 2012, it just went downhill, and it went downhill fast. And then there was a glimmer of hope when Trump was president. And then all of a sudden, here comes Biden. It's just right back at worse than what it ever been.
And we know that they planned COVID. They did it intentionally to try to destroy him, and it didn't destroy him.
No, and you know how you're talking about how they call us cult members and all that. Always have a rebuttal to it, because don't you remember the vaccine was created because of Trump, right? So technically, if you want to think about it, the vaccine could be looked at as the Kool-Aid. And who's the ones been drinking it up? It wasn't Republicans. It wasn't Trump supporters. Yeah. It was the liberals.
Yeah, we were all the ones that were like, nah, we like him. No, we're not doing that.
I even remember I'm saying, I'm not Trump. We're good. I don't want a Trump. I was telling Trump I didn't want it.
I've gotten that. I'm on my 9th my 9th TikTok account. Oh my God. And so
Yeah,
I've
that's
gotten
like
up
my
there,
11th right now.
yeah, I mean, like 20 some thousand followers, 10,000, like it goes back and forth. And I haven't posted much this year just because I've been going through my own personal stuff. But I can't tell you how many times where I would post something about the vaccine, and then the liberals would come in droves and be like, "Oh, well, your Lord and Savior got the vaccine. Okay, great. I'm still not doing it. I think
Well,
on my own free will." Like,
I don't know if this is going to get this channel in trouble or not, but I lost my dad because of it. I
my
did,
dad too.
and
Well, not the
he
vaccine,
was
but
no the vaccine. I lost my dad because of the vaccine. He was so my dad was a 20-year combat veteran. He was
thank you
drafted
for
in
your service.
Vietnam,
Yeah.
and he did 2 tours over there, and he retired 8 months after he got back from Desert Storm in '91 or
Yeah.
'90. He actually retired in '92. And back to the VA in 2011, or no, it might have been 2010 actually. My dad got approved for the VA disability, right? But this is what they did. Okay, the VA took $250 out of my dad's Army retirement, right? Took $250 out, reimbursed it back to my dad tax free. That's it. That's all they gave my dad.
Yeah.
Okay, after doing 2 tours over there in Vietnam and also doing Desert Storm and all the shit that he'd been through, you know what I mean? And it wasn't until 2019, who was president then? Donald J. Trump. When 2019, when I pushed my dad to do it. Me and him argued about it because he's that manly man. He don't want that free money. And it wasn't until I told him, I said, Dad, you earned this. That you're entitled to this. This is yours. You know what I mean? He went out, he applied for it, and they approved him for 100% disability, giving him $3,400 extra a month because of him and my mom combined, because he put my mom down as a dependent. You know what I mean? And it wasn't until Donald Trump he got approved for that. You know, and so Donald Trump was president then. So that tells me that he did something, because he didn't get approved for that with Obama, and nothing changed since then. And then my dad got the vaccine in April, and he passed away December 27th of 2021, and due to liver disease. And according to the doctors, is because the vaccine did a protein spike, and it's what caused it.
That's what it does. I mean, that's what it is.
Yep.
I have a 20-year history in like science and health. And so it's like something that it's a reason why we said no, because I was like, I already know about this stuff. I understand.
But
how it works, so.
but you know what's odd though is that my mom got it too, because they did it the same day, the same visit, right? And she's fine. In fact, I can't ever remember of her actually ever getting COVID. You know what I mean? So it's like
a lot of those were either placebo, like they were just saline, or they were the actual vaccine, and no one actually knows. Because they never tested it on humans, and so they were tracking it by lot numbers. This is truth. So they were tracking it by lot numbers, and that's how they know who was getting what. Because that's the only way you can do like a really controlled, So they literally were using, humans as guinea pigs, and they shouldn't have. But my father was killed because of COVID, and he didn't have COVID. So he went in with symptoms, and they were like, even though his COVID test was negative, they stuck him on a COVID ward. And my father had kidney disease. And so what did they do? They put him on a ventilator and start pumping him full of remdesivir, and it flooded his kidneys. And then they sent him home going, oh, we were wrong. He had interstitial lung disease. So now you've drowned him basically with these drugs. So he was drowning in his lungs, his kidneys were drowning, and he went home and died.
See, that's what happened with my dad. Like he went from an outdoorsman, at 73 years old, working outdoor, like from sun up to sundown, cutting down trees, because we live on 110 acres of land, so he maintained the land. And he went from doing that until a week after he got the shot. Okay, a week after, we noticed that he started sleeping a lot. That was the first symptom. Okay, he started sleeping an awful lot, and this went from April till about the first week of August. Okay. And the whole time I'm like, hey, Dad, why are you sleeping? Because it went from where he would go to bed anywhere about 10 o'clock at night. He'll wake up about 6 in the morning. He'll be outside by 7:30, But then, he'll stay out there until like lunchtime, and he'll come in for like an hour and then go back out there again until about 5 o'clock, right? Well, then a week after that, after the shot, he went from getting up at 6:30 in the morning, and he'll go outside by 7:30, and then he'll be back inside the house taking a nap at 10 o'clock, and then he'll wake up about 1 o'clock, go outside again until about 4 o'clock, and he'll go outside, about 4 o'clock, come back in. He'll be in bed by 6, and then it got worse. And then it started getting worse to where he was only staying awake for about maybe 3 hours in total in a day. And I'm like, Dad, what's going on? I mean, he's walking, everything's fine. He seems perfectly fine. But then I go over to my mom's house because, I went over to my mom and dad's house because they actually live next door to me. And I went over there, and we were, me and my dad and mom was talking, watching the news, whatever. And this was like at 8:30 at night or 8 o'clock at night. And I was over there until about 8:30, came back home, and 11 o'clock, we're just talking a few hours later, 11 o'clock, my mom calls me and says, hey, you need to come over here. You need to come over here now. Your dad can't move. I said, is he awake? Because I know he's talking. I hear him in the background. Please, son, hurry up. I need to go to the hospital. And she said that he was slunched over in his recliner. He couldn't pick himself up. And so I went over there. Sure enough, he was slunched over. He had no strength. He couldn't even pick up a pencil. It was too heavy for him. And so I picked him up, and he kept falling over. So I put one of his belts around him, and I just held on to his belt, and I helped him while he held on to me. I walked him, and he literally kept falling over, and I helped him into the car. We rushed him to the emergency room, and they told us COVID. They kept telling us COVID, 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 COVID. And that's when, what's his name? When I first joined in with y'all, that's when, man, I hadn't seen you since you had COVID, right? And that's the time. And the next day is when I did that video that he's referring to, because I was just so upset, like I was in tears, seeing my dad suffer like this, and because my dad was my best friend, like honestly, my best friend. And they just kept telling us COVID, like nonstop, COVID, 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 COVID. And this went on for weeks while he's in the hospital. And finally, he went from talking to us normally, just couldn't hardly move, right? To where he sounded like he had a stroke, or he was drunk or high or something. Like he couldn't.
Yeah, because it's probably affecting his brain. They call it brain aneurysm.
Right. And he was like, and there was one brief time that he didn't recognize me at first. You know what I mean? In fact, he was startled when I came into the room, and then when he kind of came to, he started mumbling to me. You know what I mean? And then and I finally, I told him, I said, Dad, because at this time they had put him in a recovery hospital, right? So he could build his strength back up and things like that. And he was getting worse. He wasn't getting any better at all. And I told my dad, I said, look, I'm gonna come tomorrow, and I'm gonna bring the ambulance, and we're gonna try to transfer you to another hospital because this ain't right. And he agreed. And finally, my mom called me about midnight, and she was like, hey, call your dad. And so I called him on the cell phone, and he answered the phone. And he was like, where are you at? I said, I'm at home, and I'm about to go to bed. What's up? He goes, oh, I thought you was going to bring the ambulance, take me to the hospital. I said, no, Dad, we talked about it. We're going to do that tomorrow. And he says, I don't think I'm going to make it until tomorrow. And I was like, okay, that's all I need to know. And I rushed up there as quick as I could. And when they buzzed me in, because it was after hours, when they buzzed me in, I was talking to the nurse, and my mom had mentioned something to me earlier that day. She said that she read an article that COVID was causing, especially with the elderly, a brain fog, just brain fog, and that they get confused and whatever, right? And I asked the nurse there, and I know it was actually the doctor. I asked because the doctor came in and was like, "What's going on? Why are you here so late?" Blah 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 blah. And I said, let me ask you something. I said, this mumbling and everything that we're seeing with Dad right now, this confusion, is this part of the brain fog that I read about that's related to COVID? And she goes, what do you mean? And I said, what do you mean? What do I mean? I said, I read an article, about it. And she was like, oh, I thought he had a stroke. I said, no, he had a stroke, but that was 2-3 years ago. And he's perfectly fine after that. This is not him. You know what I mean? I mean, this this is all new. And man, they just started arguing with me, and I threw the biggest tantrum you could imagine. I did, and I'll be the first one to admit it. I started throwing shit in that hospital. I started breaking glass, everything, because this is my pops. You know what I mean? And they end up calling the law on me, and thank God they did, because when that cop got there to arrest me, as he was approaching me, he stopped and he started analyzing everything. Okay. And my dad, he was kind of freaking out. And when he walked up to my dad, he asked my dad, he goes, "Open your mouth for me." And my dad did. He goes, "Jason, did you see that?" I go, "See what?" And he goes, "Mr. Sandlin, open your mouth." And my dad did. And all you saw was his tongue shriveled up about that small, and it was solid black, and it was ridges on it. And in the corner it looked like coffee, but it was his urine. Okay. And so his kidneys started failing. He was so severely dehydrated, but he wasn't on any IVs or nothing. You know, he was on what's it called? Parade food, you know, where they mashed it up like mashed potatoes, like everything, meat. Yeah. So he was on that kind of diet. And he told me, he goes, "Read the board behind you. It specifically says personal care for my dad. It was oral hygiene before and after meals." And that was a note to the nurse. Okay. And that cop looked at that nurse and says, "You mean to tell me you let this man get this far gone, and y'all not doing anything to intervene or help with this man?" He goes, "You're killing this man, and you're killing him as we speak. Get him out of here." And he actually escorted me to Scott and White. We went from St. Joe's to Scott and White, and 3 hours being in the emergency room at Scott and White's doctor came in. And he says, "Look, based on not Scott and White's, but based on St. Joe's lab results, your dad's got stage 4 liver disease, and it has nothing to do with COVID. Your dad doesn't even have COVID."
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Are you serious?" He goes, "Yes." He goes, "We're using our labs right now to confirm this. But yes, I think your dad's got stage 4 liver disease. Not only does he have stage 4 liver disease, but his kidneys are failing. And so we're going to discuss options of maybe dialysis. But with his liver disease, it's too far gone. Like there's nothing we could do. You know what I mean?
They
Your
just
dad,
sent my dad home to die. And I think that all the people that died alone and all the people who had, you know, all of these issues from the vaccine, people who were misdiagnosed with COVID, like my dad was, instead of looking at the fact that he really had something else they could have treated. And instead they drowned his lungs and his kidneys by putting him on a ventilator and put him on the remdesivir.
and after his passing,
I think there should be more lawsuits involved. I know, is it the state of Kansas? And don't quote me on that. One of the states, I want to say it's Kansas, is suing Pfizer for misrepresentation of the vaccine and the safety and the efficacy.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And I think more states need to start doing that. But especially now that we have proof that Fauci lied. Like he's already under oath said, "Yeah, I shouldn't have locked the schools down. That was wrong. Yeah, masks didn't work. Yeah, the vaccine was this." Like, okay, well, we have the proof. So where are our rights here? Like all the people who lost jobs, all the people who were thrown out of the military. Like, at what point are we going to stand up, put our phones down, stop being distracted, and go, enough is enough as American people? I don't care about religion. I don't care about your political stance. Like, these people are using these things to divide us so that we stay distracted enough that we don't go after them, that we don't stand up to the government and go, "You have entirely too much power. You're taxing us to death, and this is not okay." When are we going to do that? You know?
And you know, you know, but you know, back to what my dad, after he had passed away, that hospital put down due to complications to COVID. That's what they put down as the reason of death. Oh, I fought. Oh, believe me, I fought tooth and nail. I won too. I had them change it, and and so the doctor that I actually approached was the doctor that actually gave him the vaccine. And me and him, he's the one that told me that because he no longer offers it in his office because of my dad. Like, he stopped it as soon as he found out what happened to my dad. he no longer offers the vaccine at all. He will refuse to do it because of what happened to my dad. And he's the one that helped me change it. And he tried to fight them to put down complications to the vaccine, but the hospital refused to do it. So the best thing they did was they service connected it. You know what I mean, for my mom. And which is true because of Agent Orange. Because you know what? If you look up on here's where I hear the liberals attack me all the time about this. If you look up Agent Orange, liver disease is in fact one of the symptoms of it. Yeah. And he definitely had a lot of heart problems because he had a pacemaker and everything put in.
Yeah.
He wasn't a candidate for the vaccine, even from the shot or from the get-go. You know, even Fauci said it. People like my dad should have never gotten that vaccine.
But they were pushing it so hardcore on the elderly, like, oh, if you don't.
Oh, they did that to my dad.
Yeah.
They refused to do any treatments for his lung problems until he got the vaccine. That's why he got it, is because of that. Because those doctors that were treating him for his lung problems, his COPD, they said they refused to. He was going in once a month for an infusion for I can't think of the drug name. Hycovia. That's what it was, Hycovia. And for getting a lot of ammonia and stuff like that, you know, because he was constantly getting ammonia. And they said they refused to treat it unless he got the vaccine.
Wow.
Yeah. They refuse it. Go ahead.
I wanted to tell you guys real quick to actually on this wait to of course, no, I don't want a PDF, but to your claim, Stevie, yes, it is. As a matter of fact, Robert Kennedy stated on X, 5 states, Texas, Utah, Kansas, Mississippi, and Louisiana are using Pfizer, are suing Pfizer for concealing the vaccine risk of myocarditis, pericarditis, failed pregnancies, and deaths.
Wow.
That's 10% of U.S. states, he added. The tide is turning.
Yep.
So yeah, Kansas is one of them, but also Texas and what I just named.
Good deal. Good deal.
Yeah.
Oh, did we lose her?
I think so.
Oh,
I
shit.
think she had to go.
Okay.
She said her phone might die. All right, Bob. Yeah, I gotta go too, man, because my wife's we gotta work. So.
All right. All right, brother, man. It was good. It was fun. I enjoyed it, man. I appreciate it.
Dude, you are welcome back again, man.
Let's do it.
You're welcome back again. Yeah. Shit, let's do it again. Well, hell yeah, we'll do
Yes,
it again,
sir.
man. But yeah, you wanna plug in your socials real quick?
Yeah, how do I do that? Just say it?
Yeah, just go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Texas.bearded.j.bob on TikTok, and that's about the only platform I really use. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram under Jason Sandlin on this. So, and I think Instagram you can find it under Bearded J Bob without the Texas.
Okay. All right, man. Well, it's nice having you on. Yes, we're definitely gonna do this again. I'll definitely keep you in mind on some topics.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. We'll definitely keep you in mind, and we'll get back to you, man. And Stevie Stevie, thanks for showing up and showing out, and we appreciate you. Also, Trigger, hope everything's okay, brother. Damn.
Yep.
Hope everything's okay.
Yeah, keep me informed with Trigger, man. I'm kind of worried how he just left like that unexpected.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I hope everything's okay.
Yeah,
So,
word. Yeah, no doubt, man.
all right.
But glad to have you, bro. And They Were Deaf podcast.
Let's do it.
Hold on. I was like, do this. So I usually end it with a funny video, happy endings, but this whole freaking Trump shit was happy endings. So anyway, you don't have to go, but we have. You don't have to leave, but we gotta go, guys. All right. Until then, see you next time. Peace.